Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's episode of the ZodWriter Show. I am ZodWriter. It is so great to be here tonight. With me, I have one of my co-hosts, Johnny Alpha. What's up, Johnny?
Not much, man. Just another Tuesday night with the ZodWriter Show.
Just another Tuesday night. Well, in this particular case, I don't consider this to be just any Tuesday night because we have the distinct pleasure of welcoming Raya to the ZodWriter Show. Welcome, Raya. Are you okay? You there?
Oh.
Oh. Yeah, having some technical issues.
Oh yeah, I had the YouTube video up as well as StreamYard. So
Everyone
was speaking at once, so I was having trouble.
Yeah, I've had that happen. I've had that happen before. I definitely, I can definitely relate to what you just said. First thing I want to do once again is extend you a warm welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. You are totally awesome. And one of the things I have to make mention of right now is your old school Sailor Moon t-shirt that you're wearing right now. You are just killing it with these shirts. I'm telling you, I recognized the anime instantly of the one shirt that you wore when you were live on Max's stream the other day. And that stood out to me like, oh my God, I've got to get to know Raya. Raya is awesome. When I saw your t-shirt, I was just like, okay, this is funny. Because I will let you in on a little secret. I have that t-shirt. Okay, so that's why it was so easy for me to recognize it. And that image of the Overfiend with that blue tint is iconic as far as I'm concerned. Okay, Legend of the Overfiend is a classic horror anime, based on a manga. And the fact that you were wearing that shirt and repping that really impressed me because I do not know. I think I can count on one hand the amount of people that I know that actually really that know what that is or actually appreciate that for the horror awesomeness that it is. So,
it's like not one of those series that folks would proudly wear on a t-shirt, but I'm kind of, I like to be an edgelord with my shirts sometimes by wearing random hentai shirts out in public.
I'm one of those people that doesn't consider Legend of the Overfiend to be hentai. I consider it to be science fiction, fantasy, horror with a slight adult edge to it. And I watched, I don't know if you've seen it, Raya, but there is an excellent philosophical documentary on YouTube, and I will try to find it for you and inbox it to you, of someone who actually breaks down that particular film.
Are you talking about Bonsai Pop's video about Overfiend?
I'm not sure if it was Bonsai Pop, but it was a very well-produced, almost documentary-ish thing where he breaks it down like by philosophy and talks all about all the implications of what actually happens and what it all really means. I mean, it's very, very well done, and I was blown away. And that documentary also helped me get a new appreciation because I've been a fan of that film, the original film, since I was since I was a young man, since I was like 14 years old. So I think that's one of those things that if you grow up liking it.
It's a great story about you and your dad renting it, man. Come on, tell it.
It's okay. I could tell the story. I had gone with my dad to a video store, and at that point in my life, I was just getting into anime, and I'd seen all the major classics. I'd seen Akira, Fist of the North Star, that kind of stuff. And I was looking for new anime to watch. And so we'd gone through, and I was in the video store, the main video store section, and we just came across this movie, and I seen the video cover, and on the cover it says right on the front, absolutely not for children. But it was right next to another regular random cartoon that just happened to start with a regular kids cartoon. It looked like Casper the Friendly Ghost, and they had like a kids label on it or something right next to it. But there it was, and my dad actually pointed it out to me. He's like, "Oh, look at that!" And I looked at, I pulled it back, and that was back in the days of the video store where you had to pull the video out from behind the cover. And so I took it out, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "Oh, this looks awesome. Can we rent it?" And I ended up renting it and watching it myself that night when everybody went to sleep. And was I glad I waited to watch it till everybody else fell asleep, because I would not have been able to complete the movie if I'd like decided to watch it with my father or we watched it together. I mean, it was just insane. But the fact that it was out in the open in the video store, because they had an adult section where the movie actually belonged, but I don't even think the video store at the time knew, the magnitude of how deeply adult that movie really is. So again, I don't know. When did you first see that movie, Raya? When was what was your first experience of that like? How old were you?
So truth be told, I actually only saw Akira within the past year.
Okay.
And after that, I started watching more YouTube content on like top 10 anime movies like you've never heard of, or something like that. And I just started to go from there, getting recommendations from reviews and stuff online. And on my list, it was Ninja Scroll and Legend of the Ember Fiend. That one popped up because it was people were touting it as oh, this is the reason why tentacles are a thing, and are a running trope in anime. And I was like, oh, okay. So I watched it, and that definitely the late 80s, early 90s style of anime was something that I personally grew up loving a lot. Ranma Half was one of those ones that I really loved growing up.
Okay.
Tenchi Muyo, those harem, anime. For sure.
I know all of the stuff that you're talking about. So yeah, keep going. Did you ever see Dirty Pair?
No, I haven't.
And what about The Professional Go 13?
No, I haven't. So my thing is that a lot of millennials or Gen Y, Gen Z, whatever I'm called. I'm 29, so I don't know what gen I'm in, but I grew up watching Toonami. So Yu Yu Hakusho is my favorite anime, and that's a basic, everyone knows what that is if you're into anime, right? It's almost as common as Dragon Ball Z for a lot of folks. So once I started to get access to more online content, and anime became more readily available through streaming services, that's when I started to kind of level up and learn about all these older series that I didn't necessarily grow up with.
Okay, cool.
So did you watch Ninja Scroll yet? What's your take on that? That's one of my absolute favorites. Oh man.
Oh man, you know what I want to do? You know what I want to do, Johnny?
I'm actually jealous that she's actually going to get to watch it for the first
time. Johnny, that's what we need to do.
Filming it for the first time.
Johnny, what we need to do with Raya, if you're down, and we'll do it on Twitch. We should do a watch party with Raya for Ninja Scroll.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, I would be so down.
Awesome. We got to do that. Okay, guys. Well, that's come for those in the chat right now. We're going to get to the chat now in a moment. But what I wanted to do for those in the chat, that's something you can look forward to. We are going to do a live watch party on Twitch of Ninja Scroll, and it's gonna be awesome. We'll do that because I want to. I actually want to see. I have this idea of all the classic anime, if there's titles that we talk about throughout the night that you haven't seen, we're gonna be like, oh man, we got to get you to see that because
Wicked City.
Oh, whoa!
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot.
Wicked City. You just brought up, but we definitely got to start with Ninja Scroll. There's one title I want to mention to you before we get to the chat. Have you seen the classic 1980s Vampire Hunter D?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I've heard of it.
Okay, cool. Well, that's another one we'll have to do. Maybe we'll do a double bill on Twitch or something.
What's neat about this is they're all directed by the same guy.
Yeah.
Ninja Scroll and what was the other one? and Vampire Hunter D, and we said another one. I forget what it was, but yeah, they're all directed by that one guy.
The
which is pretty cool.
Well, the professional Go 13. I don't know if that's another classic that Raya has to see if we but we're gonna have you like totally knowing all these classic anime movies, Raya. That's like awesome. Okay, and so we'll get to the chat now briefly here. We've got Sil Abdul, who just passed 1K subscribers. Yay! My brother Sil, I love you, man. You are awesome. This is a guy, I swear to God, Sil Abdul, if you don't know him, he is the salt of the earth. He's a wonderful human being. I'm glad to have you here, man. You are awesome. Always a pleasure to watch your streams, to be a part of your streams. You're a great YouTuber, and you're an even better friend. And I'm just thankful that I know you, man. It's incredible. Everybody in this chat right now, if you're not subscribed to Sil Abdul Inc., you need to go there and subscribe to Sil immediately, because he is just on point with all of the stuff that he's covering. He covers all these scoops and stuff about all these movies. And, mainly lately the big topic of discussion has been the Snyderverse. Seems like all my favorite YouTubers, that's all they're talking about nowadays is the Snyderverse, and rightfully so, because of all the shenanigans that Warner Brothers is pushing. And it's pretty funny because we're here tonight with Raya, and it's like all I really want to talk about is classic anime because Raya is just so cool. I'm like, okay, we'll forego all the Snyder Cut chat right now. We'll kind of talk about other things because there are other things that exist in this world. Let's see here. We have John McIntyre at Sil. Your show earlier had me laughing. Yeah, that's another thing. Sil did 2 streams today. He had, and the first stream was his viewer appreciation stream, because he reached 1K subscribers, and then the second stream was him and Mikey Sutton and Small Screen, where they were breaking down all of the news about The Rock creating, trying to force Warner Brothers' hand to kind of continue the Snyderverse, because The Rock wants his Black Adam to be a part of the Snyderverse, which I think is awesome. If The Rock wants to push for more Snyderverse, I'm completely down. And I guess while we're on that topic, I'll ask you, Rhea, what do you think about that? Are you excited for The Rock pushing for more of the Snyderverse?
I am, but I'm kind of skeptical because a lot of what I have seen from his franchise work is, like starring The Rock in this movie. He's not a very he's not able to kind of put on a different personality than what he exudes, naturally as a person. And that's a wonderful, he's a wonderful person, a wonderful personality from what I've seen. But it's going to be hard to kind of break that, or try to immerse myself into he's not Dwayne Johnson. He's Black Adam in this movie. I'm like, nope, that's The Rock in costume.
Straight up.
So what you're saying is, if he's gonna play Black Adam, Red, to impress you, he's actually gonna have to act, is what you're saying.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I'm impressed with watching him on the screen as well. My eyes directly go straight to him for sure. He's very captivating on screen all the time, so that's a good thing. It's just that he's there are other actors too, Will Smith, Keanu Reeves. He's just, when you see them on screen, John Travolta, Nick Cage, all these actors you've seen for 40 plus years. You're like, I can't see you as anything else but who I've grown up seeing you as this larger than life superstar.
Yeah, okay. I get where you're going there. Johnny, what do you think about The Rock? You think it's a good thing, or do you think he'll try to make it all about him? What do you think?
Well, for what you guys want, he is a killer endorsement. I agree with Rhea, but at the end of the day, he is the highest paid actor in Hollywood. His movies, as bad as they are, they get the money in, and I think that he could swerve Warner Brothers into bringing Zach back a little more than other people probably could, just because he's such a big snag. That's why I've always wondered why Warner Brothers has taken this long to work with him. They've cast him as Black Adam since I think before BVS came out.
Like in 1994, they cast him.
Yeah, he was still wrestling, I think, when they cast him as Black Adam. Like, yeah, I think he was still the Scorpion King. I don't know, but yeah, like it's been forever, and it's like you guys are just sitting on a gold mine. Like you guys cry about how your movies don't make as much money as Marvel. Well, make that Rock movie already. But like I'm glad that they didn't, because now he can be an advocate for what you guys want and get Zaki Poo back in there in the director's seat, handling it. And that's the best chance you guys got. So it's a good thing that he's doing this.
Yeah, I think
for your cause.
I think it's a good thing too. I think for the overall DCEU, it doesn't hurt to have somebody like The Rock in your corner when it pertains to Zack Snyder, especially the way this studio seems to be exuding all sorts of hatred towards Zack Snyder for no reason. Let's see here. John McIntyre says, I could tell you you're all a bunch of characters. I don't know how I missed your show before last week. Glad I found it. John, it's great to have you here. I'm glad you enjoy it. I mean, this show, I try to make this show as interesting as possible. And every week we try to get unique and amazing individuals on here to discuss various things. And like I said, that's why I'm so excited that we have Raya tonight. How much more excited can you be? I mean, she comes on the show and she just brings all kinds of like awesomeness to the show. I feel like the show is just like entered like superstar status having Raya here tonight. I feel like
I will say, if Saggy were able to join us, oh my God, that would be a freaking, explosion of awesomeness. She's never seen me on camera at the same time as her.
I actually would love to bring Saggy on. So Saggy, if you're interested in coming on the show, shoot me a DM and we'll bring you on here. We'll have girl power tonight. This will be awesome. I'm down 100%. I told you before, I got no problem with you and Reyes sharing the same screen. That is awesome. Because I've gotten to know Saggy Melons pretty well, lately, and I think she's awesome too. But I don't know, Rhea, you're a superstar. It's hard to compete with you. I'm at the level right now where I'm like, well, gee, I should just shut up and just let you run the show because you're just awesome.
I will say that just to kind of gas up Saggy more, like I don't know if she's still watching or not, but yeah, she was the first YouTuber I actually reached out to, and I was like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that it's really inspiring to see a fellow woman of color who is not afraid to speak her mind, and a whole panel of folks who have no problem talking over each other and bumping heads and asserting themselves. She in the first few streams I saw of her, it was on Max's channel actually, and yeah, I just shot her a DM. I was like, I barely use Twitter. I still don't really use it, but I did it just to tell her, you're an inspiration for me to try and, put my foot in the door as far as doing more YouTube content. And then she started to invite me to participate on her channel. And I got more familiar with, Max and the rest of the panel and you, Zod, and engaging with the chat more. I love engaging in the chat. That's one of my favorite things to do is relax on a stream and monitor the chat and engage with folks. So yeah, I'm making these small strides to kind of get more familiar and more comfortable speaking on camera and stuff, and just trying to figure out just being myself and figuring out what kind of content I want to do.
Oh, that is great. That is great. And it's so wonderful too to hear how Saggy Melons has inspired you, because yes, she definitely comes on a chat, comes in a discussion and totally takes over sometimes. It dominates because she has some great takes. And I think it's awesome. I couldn't be happier. I tell Johnny all the time, I think we're living in one of the greatest times ever for people coming together, especially for live streams and things like this. I mean, when you can bring a bunch of great people on streams and you can become friends and you can get to know each other and you've constantly got great things to discuss. I mean, what can go wrong? And I love the fact that people they become really good friends, but they can get heated and completely disagree with each other on a chat and still be friends. And that's always been my motto. My whole theory about life is it's okay to disagree. Just because I may disagree with you about something doesn't mean that I can't be your friend. And I think that's something that is, really, really missing in today in the world we're living in today. This is for you, Sil Abdul. Double MJ says, can you answer my question, please? What universe is the Black Adam movie set in? Is it WB's Hamadaverse, or is it the Snyderverse, or is it its own universe? Do you have any confirmation? MJ, I don't want to speak for Sil or Mikey Sutton or any of those great people, but all I could say based off of what I heard and from what I've seen is that it sounds like it's going to take, The Rock wants it to take place in the Snyderverse. That's what it sounds like to me. Like, he's most impressed with the Snyderverse. He's an advocate for the Snyderverse, and he wants Black Adam to be a part of that. And like Johnny said, that's just good. That's just good for us. That's good for us overall. If that's what The Rock wants.
Do you smell? Yeah.
Yeah, he can smell those Hamada burgers. He can smell what Hamada's cooking, and it's not good.
I actually learned where Hamada burgers came from on Sil's second stream today with Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey Sutton. Yeah.
Yeah, he explained the origin. He was like, yeah, Hamada burgers are just fast food, cheap content to consume and then move on with your life. And I commented, why have Hamada burgers when you can have Snyder steaks?
Yeah. See, and you're right about it. That's the difference when you have that, and you can do that. And I love the food analogy, because that's exactly where we are. Who doesn't prefer that steak? Who wouldn't want that steak over the Hamada burgers? Although Johnny and I on this show did encounter a guy once who came on the live stream to fight with everybody about eating meat, Raya. He came on the stream and he basically wanted us to, he was trying to make a point that we were evil because we eat animals.
Oh, that's weird. So like, I do listen to Morrissey and the Smiths, and he's like he's a very
he's
staunch,
an asshole.
He's a total, douche, but like his music, I grew up with it. But the reason I bring him up is like, yeah, he's always touting, his vegetarian, agenda and things like that. And I can if this person who's like saying meat is bad or whatever, if they have decent, if they want to talk about anything else and like we can get along, that's great. And then I won't think twice about their vegetarian agenda.
That person, the thing, Raya, the thing is, that person didn't want to talk about anything else but meat. All he wanted to do was push that agenda, and basically, anytime we tried to veer the discussion into any other avenue.
This is a nerd show. We ain't talking about that.
We weren't trying to get into a debate about whether we should eat meat or not. And at one point, I just said, dude, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna eat the meat. Like right before I booted him, I'm like, I'm gonna eat the meat. We're going to have to move on from this discussion, because the thing was, he wasn't letting anybody speak. People were trying to, interject and trying to, counter his points with logical answers, but he wasn't letting them. So it was kind of hard and when you can't reason with people, then you can't really have them on a stream, because they have an agenda coming in. They don't, so.
Sounds like a troll.
Yeah, he sounded like a troll, but he was a very passionate troll about what he believed in. And we have Saggy Melons. That's my lady. I'm sure she's talking about you. And she is. She's another, legendary inspiration. Saggy Melons, blowing up the internet with her awesome live streams and all the different things that she's doing. She's also a very passionate anime fan as well. And we have
everyone is on board to sign a petition or some sort of thing to get her to cosplay as Power Girl, which I'm totally on board with, by the way.
Now, did you see the pictures that she posted on Twitter?
Yes.
Where she was Raven.
Yes.
Now, when I saw those Raven pictures, I'm like, I could see that. I could see like a fan film being made about Raven and Saggy being used, because she looked perfect in that cosplay. I was like, wow, okay.
I saw the matte face swap also. That was pretty great as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I was totally down. I was totally convinced. So again, Saggy, if you're available and you want to come on, man, just drop me a DM and I will gladly send you the link, and you can join your sister Raya up here on the panel, because we're gonna dive into some more anime type stuff here as soon as I get caught up in the chat. And there we go again. There's another Saggy calling you out. Yeah, Saggy is definitely a celebrity. Wow.
Yeah, I was thinking like, an interesting topic I wanted to chat with y'all was what was the first anime that y'all watched that got you into the genre?
That is an awesome question. That's beautiful. For me, it was Akira. What about you, Johnny?
Well, I mean, I didn't know at the time what anime was, but like Voltron, if I'm being honest, that aired when I was a kid, that and Robotech. But the first one I saw where like it got me into the genre would be the movie Lensman on Sci-Fi Channel. That blew me the hell away. I absolutely adore that film to this day. I hate that I can't get a DVD of that film.
I am very, very happy with my Laserdisc rip of Lensman. I'm going to tell you the truth. I love the way it looks so much, and I don't want them to defile it by putting it on HD. I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to that movie, Johnny. Kind of like you, how you like your anime to be kind of washed out and watered down, like how it aired back in the day. And I don't know what they would do to Lensman if they were to put it out in HD today. I don't know who has the rights to it or whatever, but I'm happy to have the copy of it.
The family of the guy who wrote the book, they didn't like the anime and they took the rights back. But I think in 2030 it can revert to whoever, and the anime could get bought and re-released. So we got a time to wait before that happens.
Yeah, we'll get a UHD. It'll get the the Devilman OVA treatment where you have where it'll get HD remastered and you'll just get blown away by the eye-popping visuals. You'll be like, this looks fantastic. Because I have like a new love for Devilman now, rewatching those 80s OVAs, because I'm like, they look so great with the release that Discotech
they always did though. They always look good though.
As a fan, I'm like, this is nuts. I mean, I love those. Have you seen the old Devilman OVAs, Raya?
I haven't. This is all new information and recommendations from y'all.
As a fan of Overfiend, yeah, you should check out Devilman. It's definitely what Overfiend was based off of. Going to guy like set the world on fire with that evil little manga. And yeah, the OVAs are probably the closest you'll get to the actual original manga, but we never got the fourth one, so we don't get the messed up ending. But yeah, it's wonderful.
Well, the fourth one came out in Japan only, and I don't think it got remastered the way the original three did. But it's still crazy, like you said, the messed up ending and all that. We could talk. I guess we could talk a little bit about Berserk if we want to talk about messed up endings.
That one didn't technically end, right?
Right.
Speaking of anime that ended, that didn't get an ending, but sort of ended, like because the anime had to end. Hunter x Hunter. That's another one of my new favorites. That because of quarantine last year, I had nothing but downtime inside to like catch up on anime that was on my backlog, and Hunter x Hunter was one of those two that I started to learn, like, we're probably never going to get, a conclusion to this series because the creator is getting so old, and all these thoughts were coming in my head, and I was crying along with the internet, wondering like what's going to happen.
Yeah, I remember when I first got Berserk, I was already a fan of Blade of the Immortal because Dark Horse was putting it out, and I remember they were going to start running Berserk, and they were running ads about how gruesome it was. So I was trying to check it out, but like we didn't have like the manga sites online, so I found the anime and started watching it. And when that OP starts with that goofy ass Weezer song. It sounds like a Weezer song. It's a Japanese band, but the what you want, what you. I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was going to be kind of like a silly show, and then by the end of the first episode, I was blown away. But yeah, the ending of that anime, oh dude, I was hooked. And I still read the hell out of the manga when it happens. And anybody who thinks that anime is brutal, oh, dude, just get the books. Everybody gets defiled in that thing. It's just gruesome. It's the pinnacle of dark fantasy, in my opinion. Just.
Do you have a sister named Zoe?
Me?
No, I'm talking to Raya.
Oh.
Raya, do you have a sister named Zoe?
I don't.
Okay, so Saggy must have just been trying to say Zod before, and she said Zoe by mistake, because RJ is asking who Zoe was, because Saggy said up here, Zoe is trying to take my girl away. So I think she was talking about me, but she just and to that I'm going to answer, yes, I am, Saggy. I am, because Rhea is awesome. And she's here on the ZodWriter Show.
And she needs to learn about anime.
Yes, and that's something we are going to do. We are going to turn you into like the biggest old school anime, like you're gonna have all of this, get introduced to all this awesomeness, because I'm gonna be doing live Twitch streams. You've inspired me to do. We'll do these watch parties, and it will bring back a lot of these classics that people have missed. Have you ever seen 8-Man?
No, I haven't.
8-Man's kind of like, when you describe 8-Man, Johnny, is kind of like RoboCop a little bit, but
but he's the progenitor basically of manga superheroes. Like everything is based off of what that anime and manga originally did. So yeah, he's like RoboCop, but I don't know if he was a DC hero-ish, but with Japanese morality. Like it's amazing.
Oh
Especially,
my God, yes.
Especially if you watch Zod likes the older one better, but I love the movie 8-Man After, the one that came out.
Oh, I do too. I love that as well. Oh, that's fantastic. And it actually just got a re-release like about a year and a half ago. Discotheque remastered it as best as they possibly could.
Fire, man.
Oh God,
and it's putting up the good shit.
Yes, yeah. They what's another really great one that they put out not too long ago?
Devilman, the actual Devilman 70s show, man. With that I love that old animation, dude. That barely moves. I know people say it looks crappy, but I think I love it. Like that's what I want to make cartoons look like again, at least a little bit.
I'll say that I really appreciate the aesthetic of that really washed out, thin, crisp, pencil quality, line work on the animation as well. So yeah, more modern anime, like My Hero Academia. I'm a fan of that show for sure, but the anime style, or the graphic style, it doesn't it's not as impactful to me, I think, because I have nostalgia for all these older anime that I grew up with that have that, that have that color grading to it.
Who's your favorite My Hero character?
Oh, Red Riot. I'm trying to remember his actual name, but that's my favorite.
Awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I like Ida a lot. He's just so goofy and so uptight. He cracks me up. Ida's.
Oh yeah, he's the taller one with the glasses, right?
Yeah, he's an idiot, but I really like the character. He's funny.
And Neo Sci-Fi is living life the right way. He says he's simping for Raya right now. Hey everybody, hey Neon, welcome to the chat. I'm glad you're here, and I'm a fan of you because you're simping for Raya. So that's a great thing right there. And Saggy, okay, yeah, you're saying Saggy Mountains is the best. Yes, Saggy is the best. Saggy, yeah, like I said, Saggy, you keep commenting. You're welcome to come in here. I have no problem bringing you in. I'll send you a link.
What other shows do you really get down with, besides My Hero?
So Demon Slayer for sure was a good one that everyone the internet was clamoring for it, and I was like, fine, I'll watch it. It was a slow build up. The first half I was just I'm trying to, give it time, like, to get good, like everyone's saying. But then, like, after they started introducing more characters and, they were playing off of each other, there's more personalities to make it more interesting. That's when I was like, okay, yeah, I can, like, get down with this show now, because just like the it's been almost a year since I watched it, but like just like the brother and sister dynamic, it was just really like, it was just really depressing, and I didn't really like have anything to really latch onto as far as hope or any sort of optimism for their situation to get better. But then once, like, the additional characters started to come in, then I was like, okay, yeah, there's, some cheer, there's some levity, in this series, even though it is very dark.
Yeah. I really like the Dragonfly guy. I forget his name. Like they kept having to fight him. I thought he was a really cool, like, sub villain. Yeah, Demon Slayer's neat. It's just, yeah, it just was so typical shonen. I didn't really see what the huge buzz for it was, but it did have some killer animation though. The show was really, really rad to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think another show that I really like. This is probably a really normie one, but One Punch Man. Like, even non-anime fans love One Punch Man.
Yeah. If you don't like One Punch Man, you don't belong on the planet. That thing is just great in all ways, man.
Yeah, I'm sure Zod, like, it probably checks all the right boxes for you, because it's kind of a parody of all the tropes that you grew up with.
It does. You are 100% right. Great take, Raya. Yes, I love One Punch Man. I actually sat there and thought about it. I'd love to see some sort of crossover animation where they have One Punch Man versus Superman.
Ooh,
I think that would be like a fun fight. I'd love to see.
Clark would get rocked, man.
Yeah.
Saitama, man. Saitama would take him.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That show is great. I like how it's like a satire too on, like, the business of superheroes and stuff like that. Like, I like that modern shows like My Hero, One Punch, and The Boys, like, are satires on, our of, like, a general, perception of what it means to be a superhero versus, like, what would these folks who have, like, these godlike powers actually be like in, our society, and how, would they interact with the government and, like, businesses and things like that. Like, and for, by and large, they're, like, monetized commodities, and, they are, trying to retain, their power and influence. And, that's kind of like their biggest, the biggest fear that they have, or their weakness, is, a threat to their, to their public image as well. So yeah, like, things like that, where we're just sort of, like, dissecting what it means to be, like, a superhero in modern society, is something that I really have been enjoying watching content on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Plus,
definitely.
we get Moomin Rider, probably the greatest superhero ever invented.
You're not wrong,
dude. I love Moomin Rider. He's the best.
And speaking of modern animation, I've been waiting to ask you guys about this. I want to know, have either of you had a chance to check out the new Invincible anime on Amazon Prime?
No, but I saw Uche's reaction to it, and yeah, that was my first time actually hearing about it. I have Prime, obviously, because I watched The Boys, so I might have to check it out.
I have to tell you, you definitely need to check it out. It is worth every second. I think it's one of the best animated things out today. I think they did a wonderful job, and it adapts the comic book material in a very classy and loving way. Johnny, what do you think? Have you had a chance to see Invincible yet?
I waited for it to get a couple more episodes in. I've been spoiled by binging, so trying to watch, especially half-hour long shows, and then wait for the next one. It is so
worth it. It's painful now because I'm in that position. It launched with the first 3 episodes, and now you have to wait for new ones. But I think it'll be worth it. I don't mind waiting for the rest of them, because I think it's a great series. It's one of those things where if it's quality content,
yeah, it's Image Comics, man.
Yeah.
Image the best, man.
So I think you'll love it. Now you were a fan though, Johnny, right? You read the Invincible comics.
I read some. I'm not like the hugest Robert Kirkman fan, but it's definitely better than say like his zombie soap opera or what was the other one? Outcast, the one about exorcisms. But yeah, Invincible's dope. I don't know. It's a lot like what the stuff Ray was talking about. A lot of real life injected into it. Like it's all about kind of his relationships. He does fight villains and stuff in it, but if you guys kind of like One Punch Man, this one's kind of a little more grounded, a little more, I don't know, something that would have been on the TV in the '90s, Friends type of thing, but more crude version of One Punch Man.
I don't know if I agree with this assessment, Zeno, but I will read it for everybody. He says Ninja Scroll is extremely violent action mixed with softcore hentai. Good luck. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say hentai.
No, yeah,
I think hentai is a little extreme.
Okay, so sorry, I didn't mean to like kind of jump in, but I'm just, before we go to another topic, I'm catching that you consider hentai to be a derogatory adjective to describe
No. I don't consider. I'm gonna qualify that, Raya, because I don't want you to think that I'm like a prude or anything, or I'm against hentai. Oh my God, hentai is so evil. No. What I'm just trying to say is that like I consider hentai to be a lot more graphic, particularly with sexuality, than most regular animes.
I would say it has Ninja Scroll has flares. It definitely wades its toe in the water of hentai, but there's nothing explicit enough in
it.
Right.
I don't think that, like I could, like, if he's gonna call and the reason I said that is
if he says that about Overfiend, he's dead right. But Ninja Scroll, not so much.
Right. If you're gonna say that about Ninja Scroll, I would love to see Zeno watch Legend of the Overfiend and then come back to me and tell me that Ninja Scroll is hentai. Because if you think Ninja Scroll is hentai, dude, you have not seen hentai, dude, for real.
People say the same thing about Wicked City, and I'm always weirded out about that. Yeah, there's the Spider Girl, but like, I don't know, it didn't even really look human anymore, so I didn't think it was.
Yeah, and to be honest, Wicked City has a lot of like edits and stuff that make it more or less. Wicked City feels more like an R-rated movie than a hentai. It feels more like an R-rated like action movie with some sexual elements. But again, it's not.
Well, I'd say the same thing about Ninja Scroll too, though, for the most part, except for like, the one scene with the big rock guy and with the female ninja, like that got a little nudie, but yeah, I just know.
Yeah, but it was so. I mean, it was so over the top, though. Too, like he was he was a rock creature, for Christ's sake. It wasn't like he was, it wasn't like he was really this, real being where you could take it seriously.
I want Zeno to watch Apocalypse Zero, and not because it's hentai or any worse.
No.
Just because that thing is so goddamn weird. It is just the most insane thing you could probably ever watch. So yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome. Oh my God. Yeah, we should do that one too, Johnny, as a I'm going to become, I'm going to become a watch party king. I think we're going to have to map this out and figure out what day of the week is good for everybody so we can do these anime watch parties. Would you be down with that, Raya, if we did like an old school anime watch party like once a week? We picked a day and we found because personally, I think that would be the great way to go, especially because there's so much great content that we'd like to discover with you that I think would be fantastic, and it would give viewers of this channel and of all these other great channels a chance to enjoy it with us. Plus, honestly, I just want to see your reaction to some of these different things. And Zeno, you're definitely invited to all of the live watch parties we're going to do too, because I definitely would like to get your reaction to some of this stuff as well. It's funny because, Ninja Scroll, to me, I feel like it's such an epic movie, and I've seen it. I don't know how many times I've seen it. I can't even count, but, let's see. What's the other one that's very? What's the other
Wrath
one?
of the Ninja.
Well, the Wrath of the Ninja is another one that was
Out at the
around at
same
that
time, that was
time.
very similar.
Very similar, but not quite as
Good.
stylish with the animation. Had a similar story, but the animation was kind of off in comparison. And then, of course, they went off in La La Land and did a whole anime series based off a Ninja Scroll, which was like a completely new take on the Ninja Scroll mythology.
Yeah,
Johnny,
you want to.
why do you think they went in that direction? Because I, for me personally, like when you take a show like, for example, like Fist of the North Star, you have the anime movie that takes a lot of bits and pieces from the TV show, but it doesn't try to reinvent what the TV show is. It just kind of gives you, it takes like the TV show to an extreme with some better animation and gives you a little more of a theatrical experience. But all it does is basically increase your excitement for the TV show. Whereas Ninja Scroll kind of went the exact opposite direction. It's like if they made this amazing movie where it was fantastic animation, great story, and then they did a TV show that.
Well, the worst thing about the Ninja Scroll show is that it's been outdone by like ripoffs and competitors. I mean, like if you watch Basilisk, that is a much better version, and it's basically kind of like Ninja Scroll, but like stretched out, and there's more ninjas in it. But that's a really good show. And then you got Afro Samurai, which is basically like, in my opinion, the Gen X version of Ninja Scroll, just all hyper stylized. The guy with the teddy bear head, Ron Perlman doing the bad guy's voice. You know what I mean? Like, I think that the Ninja Scroll show was just a bad misstep. I mean, I wouldn't even compare it to like the Fist of the North Star movie to the actual series. I would compare the Fist of the North Star series to the Further Adventures of Fist of the North Star OVA set that came out that was total garbage.
Oh, you know what? That was such garbage that I literally forgot that existed. New Fist of the North Star. Yeah, I know what you're talking. I'm like, oh my God, I don't count it at all. And it's like, but I kind of feel like they redeemed themselves later on when they did the Rao Fist of the North Star side story, because to me that
Tales
fit
of the
in
Black
with
King.
canon.
Yeah, that was so badass. I think
what's your opinion, Raya, of Fist of the North Star? Now that is my favorite anime of all time. So
that's another one on my list. I have to.
God, watch party.
That's what we're starting with.
That would be a good one. I did want to add before I forget. Y'all reminded me that of this really cool topic I was thinking of asking. Like, so Evangelion is like one of my favorite anime of all time, and I think that that's probably the one anime that I would trust for a Western director to direct. And if I had my pick, I would give it to Zack Snyder. So I don't know if that's a hot take in your opinion. I don't know. I just want to throw it to the wolves and see y'all pick it apart.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I have a confession. I just finished watching that recently on because it was on Netflix and they redubbed it and everything, and it was but I had been watching it, with the classic dub, and I had started watching it off of my buddy Johnny here, off of his recommendation, because he told me it was good, and I struggled with it in the beginning, and he said, just keep going, just keep watching.
Yeah, get past when it stops pretending to be a mech show and it gets surreal, and you will be in for one of the greatest things
and Johnny, I have to give it to you again, man, because you are 100% right. It blew my mind. I was like, okay, anytime. That's why, much like you do when it comes to indie comics, when you give me a recommendation, I go for it right away. And you and I have gotten to the point where we kind of trust each other's view on these things. So when, we give each other recommendations all the time, and it's just like, and it's like, you never steer me wrong. So I can honestly say that I am a fan of that. And I'm glad you brought that up. As far as like Zack Snyder directing it, I'd be down. It'd be quite an undertaking, but I would definitely, I could see him doing it. I mean, that's,
the reason I say him, not just because like he's the biggest director on the planet right now, but also because like he has a lot of, Christian themes, arguably in a lot of his works, right? Like he deals with, life, death, heaven, hell, things, and the human condition, and in a lot of those themes overlap in Evangelion for sure. So that's like one reason. The second reason is the visuals. Like, obviously Zach's like, a visual, mastermind, and from what I've seen in Sucker Punch, which I actually really enjoy Sucker Punch as someone who like loves, fan service in anime, like, I was able to, accept it for what it was, but for folks who may not be into fan servicey type of anime, they may have like had a problem with it, but I loved it. So I felt like, okay, yeah, he sees the value in visuals like this. So I think like we can trust him with, something that's maybe like actually, sourced from a non-Western, IP. And as I got older and watched Evangelion finally, I was like, yeah, this would be one movie that like, we've been disappointed by Western directors, taking a crack at anime IPs in the past, but I feel like Zach deserves a shot at it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I everything that you just said is completely on point as far as I'm concerned.
I wouldn't want to see him do a film.
Material.
Not as a film though, or
a TV live action series for HBO Max.
Yeah, something like at least something like he did for the cut. It would need to at least be 4 hours
because
long.
This way it can breathe.
Like I would not want to see him try to make a studio film of it though.
No,
because it wouldn't happen. Or it wouldn't be good.
But the thing is, it's like if Justice League taught us anything, it gives him the opportunity to tell the story in the way that he wants to, and then you have a very coherent and wonderful story. And like and like Raya is pointing out here about that particular story, as epic as that story is, if given the right amount of time.
It's also as dark as he likes to go.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
It gets pitch black, and the stuff that the characters do to each other, just like the way Shinji's dad treats him.
No spoilers for people that have not seen it. I trust me on this. I this is a series that I for a number of reasons that I don't like to get specific about, just because it is so epic that if you have not seen it, you need to like drop whatever you're doing and get started, because it will blow your mind. I don't think, I can't remember the last time I was as blown away by an anime as I was when I finished this. It was like, wow.
It's definitely one that, I'm sorry. I was just going to add, like, for me, everyone that I've spoken to about the show, like, we all describe it very differently. And I think that's like the power behind it. Everyone has a different connection from it, connection to it. Everyone gets something different out of it. And you can't really say that too much about a lot of anime. Like, there's a plot and, there's, the action and the visuals and stuff. And a lot of people can, agree on those things. But like when it comes to Evangelion, at least in my experience and the friend circles that have also watched it, we each describe it differently. We each, have different reasons why it's stuck with us, and that, we carry it with us, as weebs every day of our lives. So
have you seen the end of Evangelion movie
well as
the Okay, I was going to ask you which ending you prefer better, because like, it has actually an official second ending, which doesn't answer anything, but it is just blissfully insane. Like the guy had a mental breakdown, so he couldn't finish the show as it was. They waited till he got better, and he made a film for his ending, and it's even less coherent, but it's beautiful though. It's just it's something you got to watch as a fan of it.
You got to watch. You got to watch it, because when Johnny told me about it, and when I trusted him and went in on it, I went all in, and I went for that movie to end it all too. And so the fact that you haven't seen that ending yet, Raya, that's awesome. You're gonna really be psyched when you see it. I don't know. I was blown away. I was just blown away overall. I literally have no words for that show. I'm just kind of like,
I just love the idea that in Christian and in American media, we would not do a story that God is mad at humanity, so he's sending angels to kill us. Well, let's build angels to fight his angels. We would never make a show like that. But that show exists anyways, thanks to the beauty of Japan. And I love that it exists. You know what I mean? Like, how do you, like, so fucking cool. Like,
let me
I'm
ask
glad you
a
brought
quick
it up.
question. Yeah, for sure. A quick question, since we're talking about, like the different ways to watch uh, these series. Should I watch the End of Evangelion on Netflix, or should I find it somewhere else, like more official, that has the like official release of it or whatever?
I think the only problem with the Netflix one is the way that certain lines were translated to obfuscate certain characters' sexualities for some reason in the American version. I have the old platinum one that what's it called put out. The one that was around that wasn't Funimation a few years ago. But yeah, I got the platinum set, and that's fine. I think if you could just watch it if you're a sub fan. I think it has the regular subs anyways, but I haven't heard what the new dub sounds like, so I can't comment on it.
Yeah, the new dub is I don't know, man. I watched it subbed, so I'm kind of I prefer to watch that kind of stuff, especially when I get into a new series. Unless the English dub is absolutely amazing, I tend to go subbed all the way.
And I might get some other fans, if they're watching, mad at me for saying this, but I highly recommend the rebuild films after you finish like the regular series, because the rebuild films just are even more insane. Like the second movie, it goes past where the series even ends and goes into this weird future, and they're just badass. But a lot of fans hate them, but I definitely recommend them.
Oh, for sure. Okay, yeah, yeah, I'll add that to my watch list as well. But yeah, like another topic that Zod brought up that reminded me of another thing I forgot about was so you mentioned how some anime series will have movies that are just sort of like an extra adventure that doesn't really add anything or take away anything from the standalone series. It's sort of just like extra content with these characters. One of my favorites of that description is the Trigun movie. Like I love Trigun for sure. Yeah, it's that aesthetic, like you already know, like like Bebop and Trigun, they go hand in hand. Like I have posters of both of those shows. But yeah, like those movies, like but yeah, like they're just extra content with the characters, because who doesn't love the characters in those shows, right? But then like at the same time, it's sort of like, where would this exist in the timeline of the series, or are we in an alternate universe? So it's kind of like, I want to enjoy this content because I love these characters. At the same time, I'm like, I don't know where this would exist.
Yeah, a lot of shows do that. Yeah.
The weird thing about the Trigun movie is it's actually based on the first story arc of the manga, which for some reason got shifted around, and they put the whole Badlands Shuffle part in the original anime almost in the middle, which is weird. So like, yeah, that adaptation of that story, that's actually from the Trigun manga, which was pretty cool so you have like the canon, and I guess it's kind of like the Hellsing and the Hellsing Ultimate type thing, where you got like the kind of the edited for TV version, and then this one's the adapted version. But the cool thing is that they got the same animators and the same voice actors, which is great, because I love the guy that does Vash's voice. I don't think I could ever listen to anybody else do that character. Like, he's just such an idiot.
Yeah, Vash the Stampede, he's up there with Spike for sure. For me.
Did you say Spike?
Yeah.
You just said Spike, didn't you? Hell fucking yeah. Yep. Superstar right here. She won me over. Oh my god, yep.
You see what I'm talking about, Johnny? That's that again, wow.
So I will also comment that like in the anime forums that I was participating in up until recently, like it was just so many Goku stans. Like, you know what I mean? Just like folks were like, okay, yeah, but can he beat Goku? And I'm just like, bro, like, can you like kind of like get out of your DBZ's shell for like a second? Like, yeah, it's great. That's how we all like learned about anime. But there's a whole world out there that you close yourself off by, like, living in this dome. So yeah, like it's really refreshing to like chat about like all these anime that like I've either heard of, or like are on my list to hear about or to watch.
I hate Dragon Ball Z.
I do too. I do too.
Absolutely.
We are. I mean, when you talk about hating a series, Johnny and I have talked at length about how much we hate Dragon Ball Z. So you're not alone. Dragon Ball is yeah.
I don't bring it up unless somebody else does. And I'll be like, yeah.
What did you call it, Johnny? Right? What did you call it, Johnny? My favorite one line that he used to describe Dragon Ball Z. He said, "Dragon Ball Z is Fist of the North Star for babies," and that's when I knew that Johnny and I were going to be friends forever. And
awesome.
and Zeno says down here, if you haven't seen Bubblegum Crisis,
Oh hell yeah,
Outlaw Star, Akira, Ghost in the Shell, and Project Echo, you're doing it wrong. And again, Zeno, I agree with you. Those are
exceptional list.
Those are all great. Those are all great animes, even though I kind of disagreed with you a little bit about Ninja Scroll. I think you're on point with what you're saying here. 100%, brother. I mean, those are great titles. Those are all classics that deserve recognition.
Well, question for you, Zod. Are you still adamant about not watching Godzilla versus Kong Day One and just streaming Snyder Cut until the end of time?
I think so. I'm not really, like I said, right now I'm not really buying into the hype of Godzilla versus Kong, because the funny part was I didn't even realize who directed Godzilla versus Kong until I checked into it, and I saw that the same guy directing Godzilla versus Kong directed that god-awful Death Note movie for Netflix.
Yeah,
now here's the thing. He directed Godzilla versus Kong, and I'm shaking in my boots because Warner Brothers just greenlit him to direct a Thundercats movie. And I am literally like beside myself. I'm like, if this guy can get Godzilla versus Kong and get Thundercats after directing that god-awful Death Note movie, there's something seriously wrong here.
Hey, dude, Willem Dafoe was excellent in that film. The rest of it was.
But that was the only bright spot, though. That's the problem. If there was something else that was good about it,
yeah, they should have just made Ryuk the movie and just had him doofing around and not even tried to do Death Note.
Yes, I would love a Ryuk prequel, but not just made from a director writing it or whatever. Like, I want something from the original manga writer, and then to then make content of that, because Ryuk's like up there for me as far as like characters that I love and that I buy products of and stuff.
But the live-action Japanese movie sucked as bad as the American ones. So I guess they did. It's apples and oranges or whatever. But like,
the thing about those is those at least tried.
Adapt well, I think.
Those at least tried. They at least tried to make it. Tried to be good. Tried to make the story decent. I think even the Japanese did a TV series, a live action TV series where they kind of tried to follow the manga a little bit more closely. But we all know that the manga kind of falls apart after we lose the character of L. Spoiler.
Yeah.
So I'm not, I don't envy anybody who tries to make stories that take place after all that nonsense. I think you kind of have to, you suspend disbelief to a point, and then you're like, okay, well, I don't know how it continued as long as it did. It should have just stayed a cat and mouse game between Light and L. I don't know why they just didn't extend that and keep that thing going. Like, I mean, that made the most sense to me. That's what everybody loved. So,
yeah, I hate the way that show ended. The only thing I like about it is Ryuk showing up and laughing at Light when he screws up and stuff. Those were the only bright parts of like the last, I don't know, 12 episodes, I'd say. I think it was. Yeah,
I agree with you. So now I guess I want to ask you, Raya, what is right now? What in your opinion? Well, actually, what's your favorite anime of all time? First of all,
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Okay, and then we have RJ over here. Wow. Okay, Johnny, what's your favorite anime of all time?
Show or movie?
It doesn't matter. I guess just overall.
Oh man, why did you do this to me? It's so
For
hard.
me, it's Fist of the North Star. No question.
Ghost in the Shell, the
Ghost
original
in the Shell.
movie.
That's what I thought you were going to say. Ghost in the Shell. Now, have you seen Ghost in the Shell, Raya?
I started the movie, I think. Yeah, but I haven't finished it.
Okay, the movie, the anime or the live action movie?
No, it was I think it was it was definitely animated. Did it not start out as a movie and then it was adapted to a series?
Yeah, it was a movie first. Yeah, an
Yes, yeah,
animated
that's what
movie
I mean.
first. Yeah. Ghost in the Shell is another classic.
I also highly recommend the series for it. Standalone complex, so good, especially the second season. Beautiful, just good shit.
All right, I'm just trying to get caught up here with the chat. We have a lot of people chiming in here. RJ says it's going to be hard not to picture The Rock as The Rock while I watch him as Black Adam.
Same.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but I don't know. The Rock loves the character of Black Adam so much. Maybe we'll see a different side of him as an actor. Maybe he'll show us something that we haven't seen and deliver the character like straight out of the comic books. Well, it's possible.
Dude, Black Adam is a loudmouth jerk. I mean, like, it's not like the character is too far from Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And like Raya pointed out, there's several people who have played popular superheroes that have been one-trick pony actors. You just got to get them in the right lighting, the right suit, and the right story. And I'm pretty sure he could be walking around doing his normal, listen here, some bitch, I'm going to take my hand and stick it up your butt and make you talk like a puppet, or whatever the shit he always says in his movies is. And it'll work as the Black Adam if they get the right people on board. Because, I mean, like, he is the highest paid actor in Hollywood.
I will say, no, I agree. Like, yeah, he's a box office draw. He's, like I mentioned, larger than life personality that is very, captivating to watch on screen. And he's like pro Snyderverse, all these things are, are great. I'm all for it. It's just that, like, if I were just to sort of like step out of like, just to look at it like objectively just as like, okay, well, what is the content that we'll actually get from him? That's where I'm like, there's like, not much immersion I can really say that I have in convincing myself he can be anyone else but Dwayne Johnson. But, I'm optimistic for him being able to save the Snyderverse because he has all of the power, all of the influence, to make a good, good case for it.
And RJ says here, apparently he's been attached to Black Adam ever since 2003, 2004, apparently, but the movie never got officially announced until like 2008, 2009. Yeah. Yeah, that's called development hell. That's what it is. Nobody knew what to do with it. They just knew that Rock would be perfect casting. That's all they knew.
Well, everyone was trying to sign him. Marvel was trying to get him too, right?
For Namor.
Trying to give him
they wanted
Luke Cage too, right?
No, they wanted him for Namor to compete. And he was from what I heard, he was very close to signing with Marvel, but he's a much bigger DC fan. So,
what is one DC? What is one DC character you would like to see adapted for on the big screen, or even like in a movie?
For me, Dr. Fate, and they announced Pierce Brosnan.
My God. Really?
So I'd actually like to see what they could do with that character on the big screen. I mean, if he's done right, it could be brilliant.
Yeah, it's an excellent pick.
What about you, Johnny?
I would like to see Simon Dark.
Cool.
I don't know if you guys know who that is.
What about you, Raya?
So, like I mentioned in other streams, I'm pretty new to the DC fandom, so I'm learning more about the universe. I think after hearing mumblings of Ava DuVernay's New Gods film, like it got me more interested in like well, who are the New Gods? Who is of interest that I can connect to? And Mr. Miracle and Big Barda were a couple of characters that stood out to me. I'm like, oh yeah, these folks look like pretty interesting. And yeah, like I'm not going to say like I know everything about them, but they are the ones that kind of like jumped out to me as someone who's getting familiar with the content.
Okay, yeah, those are definitely good choices. The New Gods, in theory, could be one of the greatest comic book films of all time if it was done right. And that's the thing. They just have to have a really good script and have really great casting, like the way Zack Snyder does for his movies. He has really great casting, spot on. The actors definitely look the parts, and and that's really all I would expect from New Gods is something visually appealing where the characters actually make sense. Like I would hope that whoever does a New Gods movie, if it's Ava DuVernay or whoever, will use the New Gods in maybe even bring back some of the same actors that Zack Snyder used for some of the characters, because I think it's going to be hard to escape Ray Porter's Darkseid. He did such a fantastic job in the role in Justice League that to make a New Gods movie and not use that version of Darkseid, not give us more of that version of Darkseid, I think would be criminal. But I don't know. I mean, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. I don't even know if that New Gods movie is actually gonna happen. I mean, it's on like its seventh script right now, so who knows?
If they're gonna do it, because I heard Tom King's also attached to it, they probably are going to adapt his New God stuff, and we're probably going to see more of like the Darkseid's going to be evil and scary and stuff, but they're going to try to make him a little bit of a doofus. Like one of my favorite scenes in the Mr. Miracle book Tom King did is like they bring this veggie platter to Apocalypse with them, and like they're having this meeting with them, and like you totally see Darkseid double dip a carrot stick to prove how evil he really is. And if they do that, that's fine too. Like Ray Porter was fine, but I really enjoyed that scene from the comic. And I know you guys are really devoted.
So you don't think that version of Darkseid? So you don't think the Tom King version of Darkseid, he'd have to be recast, is what you're saying?
No, I don't see why, but I think they'd do it anyways, just to be dicks, because that just seems like the modus operandi of the studio at this point with you guys for some reason. I don't understand. Like you guys have a veritable hit on your hands, and like they're still fucking with you over it. So like, yeah, I wouldn't think that they would hire Ray Porter back, and I would still try to like the film anyways. Is my point.
Yeah. Well, Ray Porter is somebody we got to get on here and talk to him a little bit and see what some of his opinions are on the possibility of the New Gods continuing. And Neo Sci-Fi says Demon City Shinjuku, Rohan Z are also great classics. Yes, those are both really great movies. I really enjoyed Demon City Shinjuku, and I enjoyed the political spectacle of Rohan Z. What did you think? And now Raya, have you haven't seen either one of these, right? Demon City Shinjuku or Rohan Z. Rohan Z is from the same director who directed Akira, Katsuro Otomo. Have you seen? Well, you've seen both of these, right, Johnny?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Rohan Z is more political. It's actually about like it gears into like senior citizen healthcare. It's really pretty deep. Definitely a classic anime. A good recommendation. The chat is really bumping tonight. Wow. I'm just trying to get caught up here. Let's see. The Bleach anime is fire. I don't know. I've never really been much of a fan of Bleach.
Yeah, if that was the poop emoji, I'd totally agree with you, but sorry.
What about you, Raya? Have you checked out Bleach?
I have, yeah. Back when it was on Toonami. I never finished it though.
Okay, well, you're not alone because I never finished it either. Prime says, "What's good, Zod? What's good, Prime? Good to see you, man. Glad that you're here in the chat. You're always a pleasure. I love Prime. Prime's awesome." Zeno says, "All women are people of color." Okay, interesting statement. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I think RJ is talking about The Rock and Black Adam. He says it seems like it's going to take place in the same world as Shazam and the Snyderverse. Yeah, I think so. Saggy Melon says, "Love you guys. I wish I could join, but can't tonight. Love you guys." Okay, well, Saggy, with all of your commenting that you've done, I kind of felt like you were just gonna jump on because you were you've been cheering for Raya the entire show, so I kind of figured you would jump on. But it's nice. It's nice that you're here watching and that you're here with us in spirit. Sil Abdul says Hamada burgers. Yes, that is the topic. Hamada burgers. We gotta love our Hamada burgers. We gotta be more excited for DC movies outside of the Snyderverse. You know, Wonder Woman 84 was such a fantastic movie. We've got to look forward to Wonder Woman 85 with open arms. You know, and also Birds of Prey 2. Who on this panel doesn't want Birds of Prey 2?
I actually want to see Birds of Prey too. I love the first one.
What about you, Raya? Do you want Birds of Prey too?
I mean, if it improves on the first one.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan. I didn't like it. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't like Wonder Woman 84. I didn't like.
You didn't even like Pedro Pascal in it, though. Come on, he was good.
No, I didn't like Pedro Pascal.
I was like wondering why the whole.
I thought he was hammy and unintelligible, and I also found him to be completely annoying. And I felt like in the Mandalorian, he actually has to act. In Wonder Woman 84, he just hammed it up like a high school.
Yeah, he was chewing the
production.
scenery, man. He was chewing that scenery. I ain't gonna lie with you about that, but he was entertaining. I think I thought, but yeah, the movie was basically the DC version of Iron Man 2. Like straight up.
It was just, I don't know. And as far as James Gunn's upcoming Suicide Squad, I watched the trailer and I thought this is just more of James Gunn's style of humor. This is just Guardians of the Galaxy in a DC skin. I really don't think it's going to be anything more or anything less than that. If you liked Guardians of the Galaxy, this is an edgier version of Guardians of the Galaxy. And for me, I'm not a particularly big fan of James Gunn, so I really couldn't care less either way. What about you, Raya? Are you excited for The Suicide Squad?
So I'll be honest, like before I saw the trailer, I was, optimistic. After I saw the trailer, the optimism definitely, died down. A lot of the points that you called out, and that other folks have called out too, it being just, just Guardians of the Galaxy, but with a DC skin. I wanted it to not be that. I wanted it to actually like play out with with more attention to character interactions and them like playing off of each other and not having cheesy high school humor. But that's kind of James Gunn's signature across all his movies. Like even like when I was a kid watching the Scooby-Doo movies, like he's still using a lot of the same humor tropes that he did back in 20 years ago when that movie came out. So yeah, it was like kind of disappointing seeing the trailer for that reason for me. But I'll still watch it because I want to talk about it with y'all, of course.
Right, and that's kind of the whole thing. It's like even people that don't particularly like where some of these movies are going, you have to watch them to be able to talk about them, to be able to form a viewpoint one way or the other. I'll never understand people who spend all this time, devote all this time to trashing movies and stuff that they haven't watched. It's like, if you haven't watched it, you really can't say anything. I mean, here's the thing. I didn't like Birds of Prey, but I watched Birds of Prey. I suffered through it because I knew that if I didn't sit there and watch it, then I have no reason to sit there and complain about it either because I didn't see it. And you never know. A movie could surprise you. You could think it's going to be garbage out of the gate, but then you'll be, might be pleasantly surprised and end up liking the movie. And that's happened to me enough times for me to know better than to just dismiss something because of a trailer. But as far as the Suicide Squad, like I said, I think it's just more of the same, what you expect from James Gunn. James Gunn has kind of a distinctive comedic style that you expect all his movies to exude. Similarly to how Zack Snyder is a visual auteur, you expect certain things out of a Zack Snyder movie. That's why it was so easy to tell that the Justice League we got in 2017 wasn't Zack Snyder's movie, because his visual style is his visual style.
That guy loves color. There's no doubt about that. But I don't think he would ever paint his movie purple like Joss Whedon did. Like, he picked the wrong colors, and that's how you could tell that it wasn't Zack, because Zack doesn't, So yeah, I hear what you're saying. Plus, I didn't think that anybody could have made that movie. Like, when I watched it, like the Joss Whedon one, I may not be the biggest Whedon fan. Like, I like Serenity, and that's about it. But when I watched that, I didn't believe that one director made that movie, let alone two pretty competent directors. Like, you may not like everything both the guys do, but like, they direct movies pretty well most of the time. But like Justice League, it just came out like fucking half baked, and that was like the big thing that I didn't get, is like, how could they release that when it didn't look like one director worked on it, let alone two? It's worse than Solo.
Yeah. And John McIntyre puts it in a very funny way. He says, Warner Burgers, home of the unhappy meal. And that's totally true. That is totally true. Zeno says, forget going on Snow Dub's dumb show. No one watches it anymore. Okay. I'm gonna leave you to that one, Zeno. We have Double MJ says former burgers. Yeah, former burgers, former brothers. Sil Abdul says Raya was on point. Snyder steaks. Yes. Saggy Melons says Zeno, stop it. Oh my God. And Zeno says, don't make Raya sad. Well, that's actually the last thing we want to do here on this show. So hopefully we're not doing anything to make you sad, Raya.
I'm good. I'm a trooper.
Hey, what DC characters would you like to see an anime based on, Raya? Just wondering.
Oof. Oh, that's a tough one. God. Oh man, I wasn't prepared for that question. Oh, can you come back to me and Zod can jump in?
Okay,
sure.
Okay, repeat the question, Johnny, because I was paying attention to the chat.
Like, if they were going to do like a full anime, like at least a 13 episoder based off of DC heroes, which ones would you like to see, man?
It has to be a hero?
Oh no, it like DC Comics, I guess. You can do like, I guess,
Dark Side.
You'd like to see a Dark Side anime, all like
a
the
Dark
Rao
Side
one?
anime, all just all about Dark Side, going from his early days all the way to where he is now. I want to see like how he rose up in the ranks in Apocalypse.
I'm gonna go with Catwoman.
Oh,
the Catwoman anime would be sick, especially if they get like
make her look like Halle Berry.
Yeah, or I liked that movie. I like to watch.
I
that
did
movie.
too. I like to watch that movie. I am not gonna lie. I like to watch that movie. It's a decent movie, and Halle Berry is good in it. It's not her fault that the movie itself wasn't particularly a good story, but I think she was good in it. I don't know.
I was gonna say the person that did Michiko Hodgkin, like who did the anime, but yeah, like they could draw like Halle Berry. I'd watch it. I don't mind. That's all good in my book. I think I like Holly. Who don't?
Zeno says, Rhea, whip up some tears. Rhea, why do people keep mentioning you crying or being sad? What's wrong? What happened? What did I miss? Because I'm like...
Oh, maybe like, because these comments are from like way earlier in the show. Maybe it was because I was getting like really sentimental describing Saggy and how she inspired me.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's what I'm thinking, because I'm trying to catch up because the chat has been bumping tonight. So I'm just trying to like give everybody on the chat their due here. And I'm kind of like looking at this one and I guess taking it out of context. I don't know.
But to answer Johnny's question, I think I know who I want to see an anime on. I don't think there's enough Poison Ivy standalone content, to be honest. So yeah, she would definitely be up there for me.
Now, do you watch the Harley Quinn show on the Harley Quinn animation on HBO Max? That Harley Quinn show has Poison Ivy. She's heavily featured because in that continuity, she is best friends with Harley Quinn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will
So
definitely have to check it
the
out.
only reason I mentioned that is because you said poison ivy you'd like to see, and there's you do get a lot of poison ivy in that show. So that
Okay,
might
yeah.
that might do it for you. I don't know. That might actually be what you're looking for. Uh, and Eddie says, "Eat the meat." What did I walk into? Okay, yeah, that's back when we were talking. Wow, look at how far behind I must be on the chat. Eat the meat. Yeah, that was when we were talking about the vegetarian guy that came into the chat and was trying to
Veganize us, yeah.
convert us into veganism. Yeah. The truth. What's up, Zod? Keep doing the Lord's work. Hello to the panel and the special guest Raya. Yes, Truth 31. He is a legend. Truth. If you're still here, I love your content. Your videos are masterful, man. And the way you break it all down. Truth likes to make these little videos like, between 2 and 4 minutes long, where he'll come on, he'll talk about, what a horrible job Warner Brothers is doing, and he'll disappear. It's so awesome. Like, he'll call them out, mention how they're wrong, and then end the video. It's awesome. Let's see here. The rave series looked good. The rave series?
The rave one looked good.
I can't remember what context that comment might have been made.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to the chat. I mean, this has been such a great show, and we're having such a great conversation that it was hard for me to keep going back to the chat. So I'm trying to trying to catch up now. So I apologize to everybody in the chat, because it seems like every comment that I'm reading, I'm taking out of content. It says, Zeno says, Saggy is wasting her time on a dead channel. Come on, Saggy. Help out Zod and Raya. They actually care. Thank you, Zeno. I appreciate that.
That's hardcore, though.
I appreciate that. That was hardcore. But see, I like Zeno. That's the thing. Zeno and I bonded a couple of streams ago when they had a guy, Max had a guy on his stream, Justin, that me and Zeno vehemently disagreed with, and we both we couldn't stand that guy, and we literally just I mean, we totally bonded at that time. And Zeno, I appreciate the compliment. I love it. I'm so happy right now. I feel like this is one of the best streams that we've had. This has been so much fun. Raya, you are just absolutely awesome. Okay, and then Hey Truth. Okay, yeah, I remember that one. And let's see. Saggy Melon said, I would, but I have Taco Tuesday in 3 minutes.
You don't fuck around on Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, Taco
man.
Tuesday. Yeah, I know, Saggy. Taco Tuesday is very important, and
Get that crunch on, man.
You just have the amazing Raya here live on stream, and having, the two of you together live on one stream is like the mega powers, like the super female, awesome, ready to go face the kaiju. Okay.
I want a taco though, man.
I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up now. I'm talking about tacos. Oh, love you all. I shared this so everyone can watch. You shared what? Oh, you shared the live stream. Thank you, Saggy. I appreciate that. It's definitely great. I want to promote Raya as much as possible. I know Sil Abdul will probably reach out to you and have both you and Saggy on. That would be absolutely a fun time.
What I will say is that the community of y'all that y'all have kind of overlap with, movie news and, pop culture discussion and stuff, y'all are just so openly welcome to folks, even folks that are are in the chat, kind of being trolly, you'll still, give them a shot and say hey, you're still welcome here, even if we disagree. And then they'll turn into a reoccurring, person engaging in the chat with you. And then you become friends. So it's oh my gosh, this is everything that people don't give enough credit to as far as YouTube communities. Everyone wants to, denounce, the value of engaging with folks on YouTube like this. And I'm no, that's totally not my experience. I'm being welcomed with open arms. And even if I have a different take from someone, we're still super cool, and they're welcoming me back to continue discussing things with them. So it's just really encouraging to me, especially as someone who was kind of hesitant to get their foot in the door on creating their own content.
Really? You got like natural charisma like a mofo. That's kind of weird to hear. Like,
Thank you.
it took me a while to get comfortable and talk and be sociable properly on live streams and podcasts. So, like, the fact that you're brand new to it and you're just all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and doing it, man, that's cool, because a lot of people, struggle really hard at first. So, killer.
Yeah, you just have this very natural, amazing positivity, and and you can hear it in your voice when you talk about all these topics, and it's like you're truly a breath of fresh air, Rhea, and I couldn't be happier with this show. Like I said, right now I feel like this is one of the best streams we've had, and it's like it's just fun to be able to have discussions where people are open and want to talk about all these various
where
topics.
we get to talk about old school anime and see the chat chime in and say some of our favorite stuff. Dewey said Demon City Shinjuku. I was about to bring that one up earlier because it's directed by the same guy that made Ninja Scroll and Wicked City and all the other ones. So that's probably should be on the watch party list too. That's one of my all-time favorites.
Yes, please.
Double MJ says Code Geass is another very good anime.
The first one, yeah, like I think it's the second one that got really bad with Leoch and stuff, but yeah, the first Code Geass is badass if you like mecha stuff.
And Eddie says not a fan of anime. I feel sad for you, Eddie.
He just hasn't seen the good ones yet, man. That's all.
Well, that's what I think. You haven't seen the good ones. Watch Legend of the Overfiend, like being Raya.
That's a great starter anime.
Let's get you started. Trial by fire. Oh boy. Like, you talk about something that's very phallic, and you talk about damaging buildings and property and life lost. Yeah, Yorotsuka Doji really takes the cake. But let's see here. RJ says, watch Devil May Cry, Crybaby on Netflix. That's one of your favorites, isn't it, Johnny?
Devil May Crybaby was really good. It was weird because of how much he condensed the second half of the story into the last episodes, but I think it played out fine. I just wish the art was a little more consistent, because it will go from one of the coolest looking shows that you've ever seen to looking like garbage. But I let that go just because of how decent of an adaptation it was, trying to update it, putting hip hop into it and stuff, because it's a really good adaptation of like the classic Devilman story just told nowadays. So it's dope, in my opinion.
And RJ says Devilman Crybaby was the reboot of the classic OVAs. Yeah, I love the classic OVAs.
That's what I would recommend everybody watch though over Crybaby still.
Yeah, the classic OVAs and then the 1970s anime series. That's where I'm at. And I even kind of like the live action movie that was made.
Oh, that was dope, dude. It's terrible, but it's good.
It's
like
so
the only
bad that it's good. Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Have you seen the live action Devilman movie, Rhea?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I that's another movie we have to introduce you to. It's very bad, but it's very good.
Yeah.
Too.
Me and Zod are both really into Asian cinema, so yeah, we can just dive down that rabbit hole if you're interested in that too.
Yeah, that's another one.
Totally.
Yeah. Zeno says anime is just another medium. That's like saying you aren't a fan of live action or music. I can kind of see where he's going with that.
He just won me over with that one. That was. Oh, dude! Like you have a way with words, my friend. I love the way you put that. So yeah, dude. Like that's my favorite from the chat tonight, dude. And I agree. Like anime, whatever you're into, there's something out there for it. They have cooking animes. They got animes about swimming teams. They got animes about baseball teams, about wrestling, about Probably Housewives. I don't know. I haven't seen them, but I guarantee you they exist somewhere. So like
absolutely.
whatever you dig, there's actually an anime for you. That's the greatest thing about it, in my opinion.
And Saggy Melon says, "Okay, guys, lurking, love you. If you guys are still streaming when I'm done, I will hop on. When you're done eating tacos, or you're done on another stream, Saggy. I'm not sure what you're talking to, but either one, you're always welcome here. Just like Rhea is always going to be welcome here. Rhea is amazing. What do we got? It says." We've got Double MJ. I remember that scene you're referring to in Berserk. Oh, yeah, this is far back talking about Berserk. Damn, that was effed up. Yeah, Berserk was effed up, but
Yeah,
who doesn't love Berserk though? I swear, especially the 90s anime. So beautiful, so well done. I mean, wow.
Probably some of my favorite animation ever. It just looks so right. It just looks so metal. Like there's no other way to put it. That show is metal. And yeah, like that last scene, man, Guts just being held down, like ghoul fingers in his eyeball, and he's just like, "Let go of me!" And then just the show ends, and you're just like, "Fuck you, dude! Come on, seriously?" But I love it. It got me into the comics, and man, where it goes after that.
and Zeno is just coming up with the zingers tonight. He says, "Sorry, but I guess Saggy's priorities are towards a washed up rapper over Raya." You can't. I don't know where you're coming up with your lines tonight, Zeno, but you are on point, bro. Wow. Wow, that's just. How do you feel about that, Rhea? I just.
Which washed up rapper are we talking about? It's like Biz Markie.
Soulja Boy.
She was gonna go talk to Biz Markie. It'd be okay. You know what I mean? But like, if it was Soulja Boy, I'd be like, dude, that's fucked up. You should have went and talked to your girl. Like that's how I would feel about it. How do you feel about it, Rhea?
I'm sure that Saggy had prior plans scheduled before she knew I would be on this stream, so I'm not mad about it at all.
I don't know. Like, I tried to advertise this as soon as you agreed that to be on. I made the thumbnail and I advertised it as quickly as possible because I wanted to make sure everybody knew ahead of time. And I thought there might be a possibility of Saggy joining us because I actually talked to Saggy on another stream. I think it was one of either the PlayStation Plus podcast or it might have been one of Max's streams when when we talked about you being on the ZodWriter Show, and I told her that she was more than welcome to join us. So she knew about it. I guess maybe she just, I'm not taking it personally. I'm not offended. I just think that it's cool, and I'm just happy to have you here, Rhea. So to me, that adds to what Eddie is saying here. Who isn't simping? Hey, this is a simping show. If you're saying that we're basically simping for Rhea right now, you are 100% right. So I can't argue with that.
It's called having a guest on a show, guy.
Well, yeah. Yeah. or you could just call it having an awesome guest on a show. Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen blew up on the internet like crazy.
They totally did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But to Johnny's point, like Demon Slayer is definitely kind of generic in terms of the tropes and it just being a regular shonen at the end of the day. But for some reason, it being the shonen of the moment, I think that's how it caught on so much. So.
It has great side characters. It's like you brought up My Hero Academia. Like Midoriya is a okay lead, but it literally is everybody else in the show that gets you to watch it. And that's definitely the same with Demon Slayer. When the other people in his party and the villains show up and how cool they are, that's what keeps you watching. So it's pretty well written, even though it is kind of hackneyed at this point. They did a good job with it. It's still very visually pleasing. It's a rad show. Jujutsu Kaisen's actually a little better, a little more fun in my opinion. Actually, kind of, dude mentioned Bleach earlier. It reminds me of that, but a little more hardcore, a little better done.
More better writing for sure.
Little Yu Yu Hakusho-ish too, to tell you the truth, like with the kung fu shit.
And RJ says One Punch Man is great. And then we have Sil Abdul Inc. saying, bruh, Invincible is insane. Yes, it really is. And we have Eddie saying, I love Invincible. Well, Eddie, then that means that you are
an indie comics fan, and I can introduce you to all kinds of other stuff now since you've been introduced to Invincible.
Yeah,
so,
and
awesome.
not only that, if you like Invincible, if you like that show, if you like Invincible, then you would probably be open to some of the anime that we have been discussing tonight. Sil Abdul says that the first episode is nuts. RJ says that Invincible is fantastic. And Eddie says the end of episode 1 had me shook. Well, Eddie, I'm telling you, man, if you're gonna love some of the anime that we are going to be bringing up soon. I'm telling you, we're gonna do live Twitch watch parties of a lot of this classic anime. I don't know what we should start with, Raya, because there's so much
North
stuff
Star.
but I think Fist of the North Star I think would be a great
let's
one
do
to
that.
start with.
If not, Ninja Scroll.
Okay. Well, we'll do Fist of the North Star, and then we'll do Ninja Scroll. Because Fist of the North Star predates Ninja Scroll by about 10 years. So
but for Eddie, if he wants to see a really cool anime, he will not have to go far from Invincible. It's on Prime too. Hop on over to the new Blade of the Immortal anime that they have on Prime. It is just super stupendous. Like, the way it's animated is just so great, and it's just such one of the badass stories that's ever been told.
And Eddie says here, I didn't expect any of that because I didn't read the comics. Well, Eddie, that's the beauty of Invincible. It's adapted so well that, if you didn't read the comics, you're going to be blown away. And speaking of being blown away, we have another special guest in the back. We have a surprise guest who's about to appear on the live stream. I am so excited to welcome Saggy Melons to the ZodWriter Show. We officially now have mega powers, girl power going on here with both Saggy Melons and Raya. This is awesome. Are you guys going to transform into a giant robot right now or what? Because
Voltron. I'm glad I made it. I would have been here sooner, but I usually do a stream with Snowdub on Tuesdays, so he scheduled it for 9:30. So
Zeno was giving you some shade in the chat about that one.
Of course he was. Of course he was. But as soon as I saw, I was like, please let them still be streaming. Please let them still be. Yes, I'm coming on.
Well, we usually do this show. For those who don't know, those new to watching the ZodWriter Show, I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. You don't have to, but if you haven't already done so, please do so if you can. And I would just say that normally when I do the ZodWriter Show on Tuesday nights, it's usually a 2-hour live stream. Sometimes we go longer. Sometimes it's a little shorter, depending on who the guest is, because we try to have a good guest every week for the viewers. We try to get try to be as positive as possible here. So I'm super pumped to have Raya here. Raya is awesome. Again, a breath of fresh air. And for you, Saggy, to have joined us, now it's complete. It's perfect. We can probably go for another hour. So what are you watching right now? What is we want to ask you the same question we asked Raya. What is your favorite anime of all time, and what are you most looking forward to at this point?
So my number one. So I have two favorite animes. I can't really pick one, but my first favorite anime that I was obsessed with for a while was Death Note. Death Note was a very classic one for me. It's not classic, but it was really good at first. When I first saw it on Cartoon Network, I was like, oh, this sounds stupid. And then I started watching. I was like, all right, I see where this is going. This is great. It's a great suspense, like who's gonna catch who type of anime. So that was my all-time favorite. But I also really, really love Black Butler. That was also another favorite of mine that I watched multiple times. Black Butler, which is, if you guys haven't seen, it's actually really good. Second one, and not so much, but the first one, 100% yes. And I'm really looking forward to the second season of Demon Slayer, because I just recently watched that, and it was
that's currently airing on Crunchyroll, correct?
Yes, and it's on. I watched the first season on Netflix, but I really like Demon Slayer. I did like Attack on Titan for a bit, but I don't know, it stopped doing it for me. But I did want to when you guys were talking about Sailor Moon, Sailor Moon was one of my first. Sailor Moon Dragon Ball was one of my first anime. Sailor Moon, I was really, really obsessed with for a long time when it first came out, and I met a lot of friends because of Sailor Moon. Some of my lifelong friends I met because we all liked Sailor Moon, and they actually got me into the musicals as well as the live action TV show. And I started to watch Sailor Moon Crystal, which was interesting, but I liked it. And yeah, Sailor Moon. That's why I was happy when I saw Ray with the Sailor Moon. I was literally singing the song. I was like, "Gomene suna janakute
I will say, above all else, like Raya has impeccable taste when it comes to her anime t-shirts. I mean, when you see her get out of stream and she's wearing awesome anime t-shirts, it's like hard not to be like, she knows her stuff. Like you're like totally, because you're not going to actually rep something like Sailor Moon or something like Overfiend unless you are a hardcore anime fan. And because a lot of people aren't even going to know what you're talking about. And I don't want to, not to cut anybody off or anything here, but I have to introduce you, Saggy, to my co-host Johnny Alpha. I don't know if you've ever met Johnny. Johnny, this is Saggy Melons. Saggy Melons, this is Johnny.
Hello, Johnny.
And I think the reason why you quit watching Attack on Titan is the same reason I did, and it takes them forever to do new seasons. It just really does with that show. That's why I haven't watched it in forever either.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait till they finish it off, and then I'll pick it up where I left off. But yeah, I did like Attack on Titan. I thought the way they started that show was amazing. They literally just was like, "Oh, this is the main character. He's cool. Oh, wait, he died. What's that about? He got eaten by a titan. Okay, I guess he's not in the opening credits next episode." And then all of a sudden he was, and I was like, "Okay, but did he die?" And then you find out he didn't. It was like, "Whoa, okay, I like this anime." They Game of Thrones me, and I stuck with it. But I like I said, yeah, they don't update enough. And it's just it sucks when you watch it and you're like, "Oh, I can't wait for the next episode." Like 5 or 6 months later, then you get a new one. You're like, "No, I'm gonna just wait till it's finished."
Word.
And Jersey says, "Legend of the Overfiend. Holy shit, Zod, you are bringing it back." Yeah, that's like I said, that's the thing that had me so excited when I saw Raya wearing that t-shirt. I'm like, okay, next week on the ZodWriter Show, we are going to bring Raya on, because that's like, I've never seen hardly anybody repping that movie, guy or girl. It's just not something that people generally do. And like I said, I actually also have the same Overfiend t-shirt that Raya has. I was tempted to wear it tonight, but I'm like, that's a little bit too on the nose. I'm like, I don't know. But Jersey also says, depends on the cut. Wicked City has multiple cuts. The Japanese one is more graphic than the US release. Not only does Wicked City have multiple cuts, but there's also multiple English dubs of Wicked City. I think a lot of people may not know that there's the main English dub that's been circulating around for forever, but there's also a Canadian English dub.
Watch out, eh? She turned into a spider. She's gonna get you, eh? Watch out. Watch out.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. But the legendary Bob Sessions, who is a voice actor who unfortunately died of cancer, was the lead role of Wicked City in the Canadian dub, and he did a good job. But it was just weird hearing his voice play that character after listening to the other dub for so many years.
I'd have got Rick Moranis.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Okay, now this is a question for everybody on the panel. If you've watched it or if you haven't, did you guys enjoy the Berserk trilogy on Netflix?
No.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I like them for what they are. They're neat. I think the animation is pretty good, especially if you weigh it against like the 2016, 2017 series that look like a PlayStation 1 cutscene. Like but it's nowhere near as good as the original show. Like that is what like badass dark fantasy anime should always look like, in my opinion, is the OG Berserk anime.
Okay. Well, I didn't hate it, but I didn't really love it either. Saggy, Saggy, you said no. So I take it
No.
you didn't like the Netflix trilogy.
I like the original
Yes.
too much. And to be honest, for those of you who don't know, if you watch the original, if you can get a hand on, I'm sure you can look it up on YouTube, but the blooper reels for the original Berserk TV show and the Berserk movie, watch the blooper reels. They're freaking hilarious. The voice actors really had fun with that project, and that's I couldn't get into it. The animation turned me off. I know it looked nice, but it turned me off because it just you can't beat the original work. It was good the way it was. I liked it.
I agree with you. And we also, I have to stop now because we have yet another special guest in the back here. I'm so excited.
Is it Henry Cavill?
This is turning out to be one of the most amazing live streams that we've had. And I want to welcome my good friend and a lot of you guys' is good friend, Johnny. I don't know if you've ever met this man before, but the legendary Mad Max Movies has made it to the ZodWriter Show for one of our most epic streams. Welcome, Max. It is so great to have you here, brother.
Boo.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard you talking about anime. I had to come
in. Saggy is booing. Wait, Saggy, you're booing Max because he's not Henry Cavill? I think Johnny. I think Johnny over here would be booing Henry Cavill. Johnny,
not anymore. Not after The Witcher. I like him now.
Right.
Okay.
But he still sucks as Superman, pretty much.
Johnny, I have to stop for a moment, like what I did with Saggy, and I have to introduce you to Mad Max. Mad Max is one of the best friends that I've met online as well. Yeah. He's an incredible guy. I love Mad Max. And so Johnny, meet Mad Max. Mad Max, meet Johnny.
Hey, Johnny.
Hello. What's going on, man?
Max, he's not Henry Cavill.
Was like,
listen, Saggy, I'm right there with you. I would love to be Henry Cavill. I'm looking at my non-existent abs right now. Yes.
My God!
If I could make that happen, I would.
It's.
My wife would be happier. Everyone would be happier if I was Henry Cavill.
Sorry, Johnny. I didn't mean to.
But you don't know if maybe I am. Maybe you really don't know because I do.
I didn't mean to interrupt Johnny, but the whole urge.
It's cool.
Yeah, well, I had the urge to boo him because he wasn't Henry Cavill. I can't help it. It's like it's just something I can't. Boo, Max, not Henry Cavill.
Saggy, you were talking about all the shows my wife likes, like Black Butler, Demon Slayer.
Well,
although she watched that without me. She moved on with watching it with me because she likes to binge it, and I'm too slow.
Well, here's the thing too. Have you guys watched any of the live action adaptations of a lot of these anime?
No.
Yeah.
Which ones? I actually watch a lot of them. The Black Butler movies are actually excellent. The second movie was really, really cool. Like if you like gun fu movies, yeah, they go wild with like the gun action.
Black Butler.
Yeah.
You like that one?
It was flashy and fun. I like trash. I like Japanese films.
They changed the CL's gender from male to female in the live action adaptation for some reason. It was a weird thing they did. Well, no. So the reason why I had an issue with that is because it didn't make sense. They tried to make it make sense in the live action, and it didn't, because in the live action, CL is a female, and she's a different character, but she still dresses and acts like CL, and still has Sebastian as her butler. But CL is still referenced. The actual male character is still referenced in the movie. So I don't know why they just didn't cast a male character to play CL, or even if you wanted to have the female actress just be CL, but they made her a new character, and it was very weird. So I don't know why they did that.
You guys see the live action JoJo's Bizarre Adventure movie that Mike made? No, that one was excellent.
That one was good.
Yes.
So movies. Oh, go ahead, Raya.
Oh, I was just gonna interject. Okay, so I tried to give JoJo a chance by starting out with the first season, and then when I told my friends I couldn't get into it, they were like, "Well, where did you start?" And I was like, "Season 1," and they were like, "Well, no wonder. That's not even a good place to start in the show." And I'm like, "Well, how was I supposed to know that?" So now I'm just sort of like, okay, well, apparently I'm not supposed to start at season 1. I'm supposed to jump to season 2 and onward, and then every season focuses on a new Joe, and that's all these reasons on specific ways of to watch the show has kind of been super daunting for me to try and get into JoJo. It's basically long story short.
So I will say that your friends are wrong, and the reason why they're wrong is because I'm saying they're wrong because season 1 is a very
Set it up
important
really
season.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
it sets
well,
it up beautifully.
It's not even good. It's not just about it being good. It's just you will understand everything else that follows after watching season 1 because every JoJo, there's a reason why Dio is a big part of almost every season. You have to watch the first one because it explains to you how Dio became the way Dio is and why he's a prominent villain and protagonist. Or is it antagonist for the storyline because he's the big bad guy. So they explain it in season 1. So like, yeah, when I first watched JoJo, it did take me a little bit to get through the first few episodes, but once you get through the first few episodes, it really comes full circle, and then it'll make a lot of what you're watching now make a lot more sense. So that's why I said your friends are wrong because yeah, it does get better after first season, but first season is the way you understand everything else that follows from that franchise. So that's why I said you should try to go back and watch it, get through the first episodes. They're boring, but it gives you more context to the rest of the story, so it all makes sense. It all comes full circle for you.
But it actually kind of becomes a different show after Stardust Crusader starts because the first 2 seasons is all about them doing the Hamon powers and stuff. They don't talk about stands at all. And then when you get to Stardust, all of a sudden, like the third JoJo, he got like a ghost that pops out of him. So I was a little shocked when I got to that. So I started at the beginning and I was just like, well, where the hell is this going? And yeah, dude, it does get a lot better with Stardust Crusaders. I ain't going to lie. Like the show just gets more and more insane and wonderful, but it starts wonderful too. I mean, his best friend's name is Ario Speedwagon. That is just hilarious.
Right. But the best thing about it too is like once you get to Stardust, that's kind of when the links to the original start to kind of go a little bit far because every JoJo you meet is either is a descendant from the original Joe's star. So you getting to know who Joseph Star was in the beginning of the season, and then you see all his ancestors, his kids, his grandkids, his great grandkids, and like I said, it all comes full circle, and you understand the story of how it started and why it's evolved to where it is. Because when you get to Stardust, the last Joe didn't have a stand. That wasn't a thing that he had. And then his son, or is it his grandson? I think it's his grandson.
There was it was the original one, and then his grandkid. It seems to, and then there was the grandchild of Jotaro is the second JoJo's grandkid, but the mom also has a stand too. You end up finding out, so like it doesn't actually skip a generation like usual. Yeah. My bad.
And not to interrupt all this great JoJo's Bizarre Adventure talk, but Jersey brought up another movie that is really near and dear to my heart. I love it. It is one of the most brutal movies that'll make you cry like everybody. If we do a watch party of Grave of the Fireflies, we will all be crying like babies by the end of it, because it's literally a story about 2 babies trying to survive the fallout of World War II in Japan after the bombing of Hiroshima. It is literally one of the most gut-wrenching Studio Ghibli films.
Nope, don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. Nope, I can't do it.
I haven't watched that one. I know that, but
I will tell you that it's one of those movies. I remember watching it. I watched it with my brother and sister when I was younger, and we sat down and we watched it. And literally by the end of the movie, we were all a lot closer, because it was like that movie was so brutal and so gut-wrenchingly sad and so beautifully depicted in animation. I
can't do it.
Jersey, for you to bring up that movie, kudos to you, man, because that is a movie that it's a movie that is so good, so beautifully written.
I
and
can't
so
do it.
Done, but I
can't do it.
It's gut-wrenching. It's gut-wrenching.
No, you're talking to someone who literally cried at the end of Spider-Man Miles Morales. Okay, so I can't do it. I will cry like a baby.
That was a good movie, though. I was crying, but it was really good.
I'm surprised no one's brought up Neon Genesis Evangelion. How dare you?
I just did. Or
we
had
a huge discussion about that show, Saggy.
Okay,
I mean, we were breaking it down. I mean, you really have missed a lot of content tonight.
Clearly, okay, good. I'm glad someone brought that up because I was like, I hope they brought up that because that's a classic. My sister actually was so obsessed with that show. Her first tattoo, and I paid for it, was
that's what I'm working on for my stream because it's a slow movie day news.
Oh, so you just get a shill on Zod stream? Is that what
No, I'm working on it right now. That's why I was quiet. I was working on a thumbnail.
Oh, so you had to show us though?
Well, we have to ask you, Max. What's your favorite anime of all time?
Bible Black.
What's that?
Oh my God, Bible Black. That's my next shirt. I'm gonna wear that shirt on God's next show.
I don't know. I used to be more.
And that's the other thing. Now that you've said that, wait, I gotta stop. Now that you just said that, Raya, I'm gonna ask you here live on air. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Would you like to be a part of the ZodWriter Show every week? I'd like to have you here with us every week. We're gonna do all kinds of interviews. I got a lot of celebrity. I got a lot of celebrity guests lined up. It's gonna be incredible. Would you like to be a part of it?
Don't answer that. As a personal representative, I'm telling her not to answer that question. We're gonna have to see a contract first, ZodWriter, and then we will be able to discuss further terms and endearments here.
Endearments.
I have to ask her because I'm sitting here thinking the whole show I've been thinking, my God, this is going to open stuff. I've interviewed anime voice actors before, producers, all kinds of stuff. I'm opening up the floodgates. We're going to be doing a lot of that, and I think Raya would be perfect for the show.
So again, as a representational person here, I represent Raya, and we would like to see a contract.
Unfortunately, you can't represent Raya because you were late to the stream. You should have been here earlier.
So again, we would like for you to write up a contract first, so we could look over it, and then we will look at it, and we will get back to you.
Saggy is representing for real. She's like I found Ray.
So where are we at here? And while you think about that, Raya, we're gonna continue here with the chat here. Jersey says, "I swear there were no man tears during Grave of the Fireflies."
I would watch that, but
no,
it's good. It's a wonderful movie, but it's
a wonderful movie, but it's gut wrenching and hard to do because it's so beautiful. And you want to know the thing about the movie? It's like not only is it beautiful if you watch it in its original, Japanese language with English subtitles, the English voice acting is even really well done too.
But it's Max,
super
what's your favorite anime of all time? You didn't get to.
Because I like. There's not a lot of anime I don't like. You have something and you were into it for a while and then you don't. I haven't really watched it a lot. The last thing I was watching was Attack on Titan, and then again my wife continued without me, and I can't remember where I was at. My Hero Academia. I like Neon Genesis Evangelion. I watched Samurai X back in the day.
But Max, what's the one anime that stands out for you that you would die on a hill for? For me, it's Fist of the North Star, bar none. Okay. There's nothing else that I mean, as much as I love other animes and stuff, if I could only have one anime to take with me to my grave, it would be Fist of the North Star.
Well, then my anime credibility is going to go out the window now because it's like anime related. It's similar to anime, but people would say it's not true anime. Is Avatar: The Last Airbender and Korra are some of my favorite series of all time. They're not really,
but it's anime. Japanese animated, so
they're my favorites. I have to get back into it. I really do. I have to convince my wife to slow down.
Well, Jersey has brought up Vampire Hunter D as definitely a Zack Snyder movie that would be great. Jersey, I gotta agree with you. I think Zack Snyder could make those visuals
something that, you know, it would be like a feast for the eyes.
I gotta watch
Battle Angel Alita, the actual anime or series, because the movie is good.
You're not missing much, Max. The anime is
the movie's a better version of
it. The movie's a better version.
And Demon Slayer looks cool, but again, that's something she watched without me. I was like, oh, that looks cool. I also was watching. What was else? I was watching. I forget the name of it. I have to. I'm very open to anime. I just got to get back into it. It's something you have to.
Did any of you guys watch Dorohedoro? Did you guys watch Dorohedoro on Netflix? Any of you guys, by any chance? That's a pretty new anime that I think
fairly new.
Everybody should check out if you're into like really cool weird
stuff. I'm gonna tell you guys a guilty pleasure anime of mine that you might be surprised that I really like this, or you may have never even heard of this anime. It's called High Score Girl. Have any of you seen this anime? No. It's on Netflix. It's about it. Well, it was on Netflix, but when I watched the Netflix version, I sort of tuned out and sought out the actual original because I wanted the original Japanese translation because Netflix kind of messed it up. But it's actually a little story. It's like a coming of age story about this little boy and this little girl that grow up loving classic video games. Starting all the way back to like in Japan they called it the Famicom, the Nintendo, in the arcade days, the old arcade days, and basically it's about how these two characters fall in love through their love of video games. It's a beautiful little story. It's actually very well done, and it's very faithful to the manga. So if anybody has, if you get a chance to check it out, I highly recommend it.
Questions for you guys then. What was the? I don't know if you covered this because I didn't watch the first part of the show.
Yeah, I know. I'm seeing a lot of that tonight.
Okay. What was one of your first animes you've ever watched? I know mine was my sister when we were growing up. She put on Ranma, one half. And then nice. What's your what do you prefer, and what's some good like classic anime or current anime, and what's some really good current shows that are out now, like that are just starting?
I think for me, like I don't think I answered this when Johnny asked. Like the first anime I think I like officially watched was Speed Racer on Cartoon Network. And I didn't even realize that was anime. It right. Just like looked different from every other cartoon on Cartoon Network. And then Sailor Moon, was another after school anime that I was watching. And these shows, like I didn't realize they were like any different from any other cartoon, like as far as like them being considered anime versus Western style animation. And then Toonami, watching Tenchi Muyo, Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin, and so on. Yeah.
Cool.
I grew up watching Robotech, Voltron, that kind of stuff. But the first anime movie to actually really sell me on anime and really get me into it to the point where I was a diehard fan and had to seek out more of it was Akira.
Yeah, I got kind of the same thing as Zod. Like I watched the ones that I didn't know were animes at the time, like Robotech and Voltron, because we had no idea what that was. And then, Sci-Fi Channel was a big boost into the anime world for me. They showed movies like Vampire Hunter D, Robot Carnival, Lensman, which was my personal favorite, and then they ended up actually airing Akira for the first time in America. So that was a big thing. And after that, I just went around to VHS stores and rented like the Urban Vision and anime entertainment movies, like all the stuff we've been talking about, Wicked City, Twilight of the Dark Master, like all that.
Have you seen, you've seen Twilight of the Cockroaches, the Japanese live action mixed with anime? That was really amazing.
Weird. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It's really weird. In the
Twilight of the Cockroaches is another one I want to do a live Twitch stream with Raya. I think Twilight of the Cockroaches, she would have some very interesting things to say about that one.
That's actually a really cute movie about cockroaches and shit.
As Raya's representative, again, we would need to see that in the contract for her to do some Twitch streaming with you.
Reason Saggy came on her, she's like, I
have to protect my my client.
Okay.
By the way,
also,
Raya, Well, I
Oh,
was gonna
sorry.
say I did review. Zod actually sent me over the contract, and upon further review, I think it's okay for you to sign the contract. His terms are pretty fair, and he did say that he would compensate you for your time with unlimited supply of bubble tea. So I think we can go ahead and sign that
that's
dotted
for
line
Staggy.
if you
That's
want to.
Staggy's rate. Unlimited bubble tea. That's
As
you. I
long as
know.
it's not an exclusive streaming contract, so I can still hang out with Max and Saggy on their channel.
Oh no, of
stream
course
with them.
I hang out with Max and Saggy and stream with them. So of course. I just want you to be on with us every week, because this way when because we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna have anime people on here. We're gonna have all kinds of things coming up that I have planned. So if you want to do that, I would be super excited.
That sounds really fun. Thank you for
Awesome.
inviting me.
All right, great.
Zod's had Ua Bull on the show a couple times, man.
Oh, really?
That is big pimping. He had the
I didn't know
German
that.
boxing badass himself up on him.
Yes, I have. We've interviewed. Man,
You
I
got
can't.
Shia LaBeouf, but he bailed on you. You actually had him booked.
Yeah, we had Shia LaBeouf, and he bailed.
Oh, really?
Before. Yeah.
Oh,
That's a story that I could actually take a moment to tell if you guys want to know about Shia LaBeouf. I had Shia LaBeouf scheduled to be on the ZodWriter Show, and for those who don't know, I started the ZodWriter Show back in 2012, 2013, and I started doing the show on PSN Radio, which was an internet radio network. So the show was kind of like a live podcast every Tuesday. And I eventually transitioned. I transitioned at the end of last year from doing it on PSN Radio to moving it to YouTube. So all of the stuff that I did on, PSN Radio was where I had started, and I had been interviewing different people, different, celebrities, movie directors, and musicians. And when I got Shia LaBeouf, I had been in negotiations with his representative for, I want to say, a good month or two to make it possible to get him on the stream. And this was just after he had made, I think he had just made that movie, that Nymphomaniac movie, the first volume of it, because it's 2 movies. And so I wanted to get him on because I wanted to talk to him about his career, because he had gone on record and saying that he wasn't famous anymore and that he wasn't going to do any more like big budget blockbusters like Indiana Jones or Transformers. So what I did was, when I got in touch with his representative or whatever, we nailed it down. She said that he could come on and he was willing to be on the show for a good 30 minutes. So I was super excited. We had it planned. The day came, and my co-host Victoria at the time, she was really excited because she was a big Shia LaBeouf fan. So the two of us, we were looking forward to it. And so we spent the whole first hour of the stream talking about Shia LaBeouf's movies, and we basically were going, through his like IMDb, trying to, because we'd seen everything, and we'd gone through the whole show, but no Shia. He was supposed to have called in for 30 minutes. He never called in, and what ended up happening was there was 2 minutes left in the show, and he had called. His representative had got the time wrong because of time zones or something. So we weren't able to get him on the show. And unfortunately, at the time, I wasn't doing the show on YouTube, so it wasn't like I could just do the show for as long as I wanted and I could just go for whatever. There was another show happening immediately after the ZodWriter Show, so I didn't have the extra time where I would have been able to just be like, okay, well, Shia's late, no big deal. We could have got him on and continued to talk to him. But then after that, it was difficult because I tried to work out a deal to maybe get him on again, but it just never materialized. So I wasn't able to. So I wasn't able to get him. And that's my Shia story. I could have had him on the show, but who knows? This is 2021. We're moving. I'm moving into, I plan to bring everything that I learned from doing the ZodWriter Show on PSN for so many years over to YouTube. So I intend for this to be basically it's going to become the same show that it was back then, with us bringing on as many popular people as we can, people that, you know, unknown indie artists, indie musicians. There's a whole story about indie musicians I could tell you, but we'll save that for another time. But I just wanted to give a brief, you know, overview of that Shia situation.
Well, now that you bring up that story, I was gonna hold off on this, but I want to have this be here first. Some people I've already told this to, but I'll give you guys an exclusive. Long story short, I am actively trying to get Jason Font as a guest on my YouTube channel. And for those of you guys who don't know who Jason Font is, he played the Red Time Force Power Ranger on Power Rangers Time Force, and he is also actively the voice actor for Leon S. Kennedy in all of the Resident Evil games, starting with 4 and after, and also the movies. So I am trying to get him to be a guest on my show. So I have high hopes that might be possible. I don't want to confirm anything yet, but it is in development. And then after that...
Saggy, you've had Tommy Tellerico on your show. You won't have any problems.
Power Rangers again?
You're good to go.
It's Power Rangers in gaming, because he's not only just the voice actor of Leon, he's also the motion capture. They have a studio where they film scenes for the game, and then they send that film to the Japanese animation studios to CGI, you know, put the characters in. So he does that. And I'm also, if I could get Jason, my friend, she's a booking agent, so she has a lot of actors on her roster. She actually has the majority of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air cast. She has the actor who played Jeffrey the butler. She has the actress who played Hillary. She has the actress who plays the sister, Tatiana Ali. That's who her real name is. And I'm hoping that if this goes well, I could probably get a bunch of those people on my show, which would be great. She even has the second mother, Aunt Viv, from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So she has a pretty great big cast. So I'm trying to get a lot of guests there. Expect a lot of guests to possibly appear on my channel soon.
That's cool. I never really got into
not to cut you off, Max, but I just want to say thank you, Saggy, for announcing the future plans of your show on this show. That's so exciting. That's exciting stuff. I'm so glad to hear that. I get excited whenever I hear what people have upcoming like that. It's just awesome.
I wanted to do it here so you get the exclusive. This is the first and only place I will talk about it until I have things confirmed.
You are awesome.
A lot.
I am so excited.
Exclusives over here.
Go ahead, Max.
Just kidding. I was saying I haven't really got into I watched the first Power Rangers, but I didn't really get into any of the other stuff.
My little brother was a big Power Rangers fan.
I like the Pink Ranger.
Well, I think that when people hear Power Rangers, because Power Rangers is such a kid garnered TV show, it's like for kids. But
I am going to say something too that Saggy might be really upset with me, depending on how hardcore Rangers fans.
Oh wow!
I really like the last movie, the reboot.
Oh no,
you know what movie I liked? You know what movie I liked? I like the movie from the 90s. I like the Power Rangers movie from the 90s. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. That's the one I liked.
Well,
thought it was really great.
Here's the thing, though. I think you guys would actually prefer the Super Sentai, which is what Power Rangers is based off of, because Super Sentai is a lot more. It's still kind of like goofy in a sense, but it's more mature. Where they've actually killed off Power Rangers. Like, Power Rangers have died in the Super Sentai version. So I think if you wanted to get to Power Rangers, I highly recommend as an adult you actually watch the Super Sentai series, because believe it or not, Sailor Moon, speaking of Raya's beautiful shirt, Sailor Moon, the woman who wrote the manga originally, Sailor Moon was inspired by Super Sentai. So technically speaking, Sailor Moon is the female version of Power Rangers. And a lot of people know that the artist who drew it and created the story did it because she was a fan of the Super Sentais that out in Japan, and that's where Sailor Moon came from. It was just a Super Sentai for girls. So, fun fact.
I want to ask you to Saggy and Raya. I want to ask you to about a cartoon that I loved growing up. That is something that is a guilty pleasure of mine. And speaking of a lot of the stuff that I've done. I've also happened to have had the lead actress of this show on I interviewed her a couple years ago. Gem and the Holograms. Did either of you love that show? I interviewed Gem. I actually had her on my show. We talked. Growing up, I absolutely loved Gem and the Holograms. As a guy, as a straight male, growing up loving Gem and the Holograms, it's not something that
Why do you have to say that?
I could say, you know why I have to say that? Because
it wasn't cool.
It wasn't cool as a kid to like that, because it's considered a girly thing for girls.
Yeah,
but I absolutely love it. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, and I still watch it to this day.
It's better than Denver the Last Dinosaur. That's for sure.
I actually used to be very obsessed with Gem and the Holograms when I discovered it when I was a little older. I binged the crap out of it. I thought it was a really cool thing, and just like all cartoons back in those days, it was all about making toys. And I was excited when I heard that they were making a Gem and the Holograms movie, but I was disappointed.
Oh my God!
I was so pissed about that, man.
Oh God, I was so upset about the movie. Johnny knows, because I complained to him and a couple other friends about that Gem and the Holograms movie ad nauseum. I was like, I can't believe they did this. This movie is so horrible.
What they tried to do is, I don't know if you've seen the Josie and the Pussycats movies. Those were actually pretty good. Yeah. I like them, but
I mean, who are those girls? The girls from Britain. Who are they?
Spice Girls?
Spice Girls. Even the movie that they did was better than Gem and the Holograms.
Yeah. That's why I was disappointed, because I'm like, you had one job, which is to make a movie based off of a girl band, and they did it in the most awkward, weird way that made it so cringe. And I'm like, Josie and the Pussycats did well because it wasn't meant to be taken seriously. And that was what made it work well, is it was like a spoof, if you will, of the original, but it still worked amazingly because Josie and the Pussycats were like kind of jokey too, because they were on Scooby-Doo and stuff. So
yeah.
But the Gem and the Holograms movie, absolute dog trash.
All right, well, Max, I would love to thank you for being here today. It was so great that you came. I just got your message in the back saying that you had to boot.
I have to get something to eat before I stream, because I'm really hungry.
Thanks for coming, Max. Appreciate it, bro.
Oh, no problem. Thanks, everyone.
All right, man.
Bye, Max.
Bye.
So Raya, I have to ask you, given that you are the newest member of the ZodWriter Show, I have to ask you, would you be interested in me trying to get Samantha Newark, who voiced Gem, on here for an interview?
Oh yeah, that would be great. Just let's chat it up on Twitter and figure it out.
Because she's somebody that I've interviewed her before. I could probably get her again. I'm gonna probably, and that was somebody I was thinking about, but I wasn't too sure, because I didn't know particularly, because I know Johnny, you're not the biggest Gem and the Holograms fan, but Samantha Newark Samantha Newark is pretty cool, and she has like a music career of her own. She's kind of been releasing albums steadily over the decades, and she's still, it's amazing because she still sounds exactly like Gem from Gem and the Holograms, which is incredible, all things considered.
I do have something I want to say. I want to say to Raya. I'm gonna get a little gushy, so bear with me. Raya, I want to say thank you so much for supporting me and my channel and supporting all these people. I'm actually so honored to have met you. You've always been an amazing light. And I remember the day when I was having a really rough stream because I was upset, and you decided to come on and talk to me. And that meant a lot to me. And I really do think you would excel immensely on doing these streams and even starting your own YouTube channel. And I actually would like to help you do so. So after the stream, if you wouldn't mind, like I should probably do this private, but I'm doing it public because I don't care. Let me know if I can send you a microphone so that we can get you set up to kind of do some more streams. Because if you're going to do these streams often, I want you to sound amazing. I know you have I know your microphone's good, but I want to get you a better one. So let me know. I'll send you a microphone. I'll show you how to set it up. And if you need me to do anything for you, if you want to start your own YouTube channel, I'll make you some intros, outros. I'll set you up and show you how to like get, copyright free stuff and whatever you need. But I really think you're an amazing person. And I think you have a great personality. You have a big heart. And I think everyone here who's getting to know you loves you. And I love you. You're amazing. So if I can do anything to help you grow and get your voice out there, because we need more females like you out there, speaking the truth and talking and getting your voice heard, I'm more than happy to help you do whatever you need. So let me know so I can send you a nice new microphone, and whatever else you need, you let me know.
Well, you could be on the show
Oh my
whenever you
God.
want to too.
Yeah, and you're always welcome on my show too.
No. You are welcome on our show,
Yeah,
Saggy.
Saggy. I don't.
Having you on. Like, I ain't never got to talk to anybody about JoJo before, yet. You know what I mean? At least on the show.
I'm sitting here thinking, like, my God, I'm like, where everybody is welcome everywhere. We're just like, this is what we want to do, and it's like I'm sitting here thinking, my God, it's so great. I've got both Saggy Melons and Raya on the same stream. Yeah. I'm like, how lucky are we today? I mean, that's what I mean. I'm just, this is so great. This is just, and so, yeah, based on all of these announcements and all of these revelations that have come out today, I have to say that this really has been one of the best streams we've had. I don't know what you think, Johnny, but I think this stream is,
it's pretty good. Hey, Saggy, have you read the, Boom Studios Power Rangers comics? I haven't checked them out myself, but a lot of my friends are really into them. They say that they're written really, really good, really hardcore, kind of, but still keep the fun.
Well, so for any Power Rangers fans out there, I don't think there's many. I have some breaking news that I just found out. I was actually told that Hasbro, who currently owns the rights to Power Rangers, I heard they're actually going to stop doing the live action shows. The contract they had with Japan has expired. I don't think they're going to renew it. And I believe they're going to be focusing on the comic books, toys, and I actually heard that they might be doing a cartoon version of Power Rangers as opposed to the live action, which is kind of sad. But the comic books, yes, they've been doing pretty well. I know Jason David Frank still does actively do stuff with the franchise. He does a lot of these side projects, and they're really trying to push the Lord Draken story to a live action adaptation, which they've been doing for years, which is actually kind of cool. So those comics are really awesome because it involves Lord Draken, which is basically Tommy who has gone dark. And he's kind of like he killed all the original Rangers, and he was like Injustice, the game.
Yeah.
Like the storyline about how Superman became all like they killed Lois Lane, and so I had to become evil and take over the world. That's basically this kind of a story arc with Power Rangers right now. Lord Draken is basically Superman taking over as the one and only Ranger who is leading, the world and stuff. So it is a good. You should read it. It's a really good storyline.
Sweet, yeah, that's what I hear. Like a lot of my friends really, really are into it, which I thought was kind of funny, but then they explained it to me, and I'm like, that's cool, man. If they actually are able to pull that off, like, I'd give it a shot.
And Zeno has a great comment here. He says, Zod would have asked Saggy to join the show weekly, but she's always busy.
I am, though.
You are. You're very busy. You have a lot of streams. You have your own channel. You've got a lot of things going on that like I said, I'm grateful that you were able to show up here tonight to champion Raya, because like I said, Raya is awesome, and that's another thing that's so awesome about Raya. Raya doesn't have a YouTube channel right now, so this will be great because this will help Raya build a following and build that kind of thing too. So I can't argue with you there, Zeno. That is the truth. Saggy is always busy, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I try my best. What I do now is like I try to support as many people as I can because there's a lot of people, and so if I can't get on a stream, I just come on. I give a like, and I'm like, hey, just stopping by to drop a like, and then I'm off to another stream or something. So I do try to kind of extend myself as much as I can. But yeah, it's been wild. My YouTube channel's been growing. I have so much support, and I can't be
grind. That's how you do it. That's the
grind.
I mean,
I'm very humble too, and like I said, Raya that's why I love Raya, because she was, one of the people there. It started seeing me grow, and she was always very positive. And like I said, that moment when she jumped on that stream, when she didn't have to, she saw me ranting and talking about all the crap I was dealing with people, and she just hopped on. She just gave me this positive talk and said, "This is why I come here, and this is why I like you, and keep doing what you're doing." And she pushed me. She did. She's been my number one supporter, and that's the least I could do is give back. If she wants to do YouTube and pursue this stuff, I'll set her up, get her a mic, get her a headset, get her whatever she needs to get going, and show the love right back to her. So I will be sending her a microphone so she can sound good.
So for those who don't
Everything.
know, this stream is officially titled the I Love Raya stream.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because we are just, it has just been amazing. It's just been love all the way around from beginning to now. So Taylor says, here's ZodWriter just saying hi. You have an epic stream with Raya and Saggy Mad Max. The entertainment also epic. Thank you, Taylor. I appreciate you calling the stream epic. I can't disagree with you. This is an epic stream tonight. We've had so many great people on here tonight. Johnny, how do you feel about how this stream has transpired?
It's been really cool. I just kind of wish that Juan Carlos was here to tell us.
I do too. I don't know where Carlos is. He must have been busy today because he has a job where where they work him to death. So I'm grateful whenever he can be a part of the show, because he does bring a lot. And now I'm so happy that we're gonna start every week with 3 people. I think that's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. We're gonna have such a great show, and I love the idea of having a female perspective on the show. That's something I've missed from the ZodWriter show that I used to do. I always we always had a female perspective on that show.
Yeah, that's why I tripped when you asked me to be your co-host. I'm like, I'm a dude, you know that, right? Remember?
And yeah, I know you're a dude, but you're one of my closest friends in life. So I can't. So it was like, for me, there was no way I wasn't going to ask you to be a permanent person on this show, because it's just like, man, I mean, how lucky. That's why I feel like, how lucky am I to be able to chat with one of my best friends every week about stuff that I love. So that's.
It's just really nice to do it on this show and not have it all be about the big ZS, man. Like, I love the guy and I'm happy he won, but this has been a really fun stream for me just because that barely got scratched tonight. You know what I'm talking about, the Snyder Cut, the goddamn Zack Snyder.
Yeah, well, I love Zack Snyder as well. He's my favorite director, but I do have to branch out and talk about other things. And I think, Raya can appreciate that too. Again, being the big anime fan that you are, Raya, I have to ask you, do you appreciate a variety in topics and not just droning on about the same thing, week in and week out?
Yeah, this was actually really refreshing. As much as I love, the content for, talking about, the film pundit community and stuff like that, sometimes I'm like, well, what else are y'all into? Is that something that just getting to know y'all on this stream has been a lot of fun, and yeah, like I said, refreshing.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's great. It's great getting to know you too. And I was excited, when you would be in the chats on Max's shows and stuff, and you'd always have a lot of interesting takes and things that you would bring up. So it's awesome. It's especially awesome to just see you here on a live stream and, to be getting your thoughts on all this stuff. Zeno says here, I was positive too, Saggy. I told you to shut up and ignore the trolls. I never got appreciated. Saggy, how do you respond to Zeno?
Well, don't ever fight the trolls, man. Don't fight the chat. Don't fight in your comments, man. That is YouTube 101. It's a bad look and it never ends well. So yeah, just ban them or put up with it. That's the two things you do. Fighting with them is not an option. Ever.
Zeno has been absolute gold tonight. I mean, Every comment of Zeno's that I highlight, I'm like super happy that I did. Zeno says here, next these guys are going to tell us they loved My Little Pony. Friendship is magic.
I commented that I actually do love MLP, and like I know Xena's hot takes are always like the highlight of every chat that he's in for the most part. I was actually going to say thank y'all so much for having me on here. It's been super humbling and amazing just being so welcomed by y'all and all the other creators who jumped in to give support. I'm looking forward to participating in more streams and chatting with y'all. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to say that before I hop off to go get a snack.
Yeah,
and,
we're gonna.
I
was just gonna end the show, Raya. So that's perfect. I was just gonna ask, start asking everybody for their final thoughts. So if you've got about 5 more minutes, we're gonna wrap everything up. Is that cool?
For sure.
Okay, so next week we're gonna have another show. We're gonna be here at the same time, and I'm working on a special guest. I can't tell you all who it's gonna be yet because I'm still trying to finalize the details, but it should be something great, and especially with our anime extra edition here, the amazing Raya, and we're gonna work out the details for those Twitch watch parties too. So we're gonna work that out because me and Johnny are definitely gonna introduce you to all that old classic anime. So final thoughts. We'll start with you, Saggy Melon, since you were the last one to join the chat. What do you think of all this? Just overall,
all of what?
The show, overall, how the show went today.
I mean, I would for what I started watching when you started. I think overall, yeah, it was great. I like talking to more anime fans. I feel like we need more anime talks because always feel like the odd person out. But yes, I thought it was great having Raya on. You already know how I feel about that, but yeah, it's great. I love it, and I love you guys.
I love you too. Awesome. Okay, Johnny, your final thoughts on tonight, man.
It went really good. I liked meeting the new people. Like Matt seemed pretty cool. He asked if there were any like newer anime to check out that were pretty cool. I would say like Steins Gate. That's probably one of the more amazing things I've ever seen.
Oh, I don't want to open up that can of worms. We'll save it for next time.
We'll talk about Steins Gate next week. Next week.
Highly recommend that, dude. And if that doesn't blow your mind, check out Baccano. Baccano's really, really neat too. If you like mobster stuff and Immortals, it's so different. It's so rad. So yeah, check those out.
Okay, and Raya, you have the final word on the show.
Yes. Yeah. Again, I'm super humbled by just the open arms that I've received since expressing interest to look into YouTube content creation and just engaging with the community and stuff in the chat. Y'all are just so encouraging and amazing, and I'm looking forward to collabing with y'all more.
Okay, great. Thank you, Raya. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining the show. It's going to be a pleasure to have you on weekly, and I love everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for participating. The chat was bumping tonight. Thank you, Saggy Melons, for appearing tonight. Thank you, Johnny, for being here as always. And thank you, viewers. We'll see you next week. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.